showed up today to get this experience. But let's move on to our next speaker because our next speaker is also a graduate of the Becoming the Best Speaker Academy, part of the Becoming the Better You umbrella. She is known as Cleo Delamos. She's a finance and money management coach. She believes that financial freedom is possible for everyone. And as a finance coach with over 10 years of experience, her mission has been to simplify the money management system and help you secure your financial future. She understands the challenges of navigating personal finance, and she's here to provide the tools and support to needed to help you overcome obstacles and achieve your dreams. And on a personal note, she loves the ideal of that if we are able to heal ourselves personally, financially, emotionally, and all of the other things, then we can pursue excellence. So let's welcome to the stage one of our graduates, well, part of our BTBY family. It's Cleo Delamos. Hey, Cleo.
Hello, how are you?
Miss
Good, good,
Cleo.
Good.
good. We are so glad to have you here. Want to make sure you can hear us pretty well. We can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Great.
All right. Well, Cleo, the stage is yours.
Thank you. So, like Terrence said, I am a finance and money management coach. And one of the biggest things that I love to quote is from Vicki Robin. She's an author of a great book called Your Money or Your Life. And there was a quote in there that said, money is something we choose to trade our life energy for. And that's something that I've really resonated with because do I want to choose money? Do I want to choose how I live my life? And I know personally, I want financial freedom. Financial freedom to me means the ability to be able to live without worrying about financial restrictions, worrying about limitations, worrying about bills, wondering, okay, do I have enough money to save for this? Do I have enough money to provide for my family for that? And so on the journey to financial freedom, it's learning that it's not just a one-time achievement, but it's a continuous progress that requires ongoing effort that we have to adapt to. And there are three ways that we can do that. And one of the things we need to look at is the financial environment of growing up. That's a big key that can play a huge part for us as an adult. Another thing would be the lack of knowledge. If we don't understand that financial part of navigating through the financial waters, then we become very vulnerable ourselves in the real world. A third one is by applying the knowledge that we learn, we then gain that power, that confidence in knowing that we can make financially sound decisions. So I know for myself growing up, I grew up in a single parent household, but I still had both my parents in my life. And I watched both of my parents work 11 plus hour days. There wasn't much togetherness. There wasn't many vacations. It was more like I'm paying these bills to keep these lights on. I'm working this many hours to get you school clothes. Anything additional wasn't going to happen. And so my siblings and I learned that we couldn't ask for a video game. We couldn't ask for a CD. We couldn't ask for a car at 16 because we knew that our parents didn't have it. And so I learned that I was never going to have enough money because my parents didn't have enough money. So I figured that my path was going to be the same as theirs. And I remember I was about 10 years old at the checkout line with my mother, and they were scanning items, and my hands were so sweaty, clammy. My heart was just pounding. I was like, oh, dear Lord, let us be able to afford these groceries. Because I had experienced having to put items back because we didn't have enough money to afford just the basic food to get us from a 2-week pay period. I remember just my mother just kind of counting her dollars in her purse secretly while he's ringing up all the items to make sure that she as well had enough money. So just money in itself was such a stressful topic in my family, and it was just not there. With my dad, it was a lot of window shopping. That was something he enjoyed. We never walked out with anything, but it was always like, okay, next time, what would you like to have? And we would pick out our items, but of course we would go back a month or so later, never pick up those items, but of course something new was in the store. So then we'd have a new idea of what we wanted. So it was just this continuous thought of wanting, next time, next time, next time. Next time would come, nothing happened, nothing changed, nothing was bought. And so I just got this scarcity mentality that because my parents worked so hard and had nothing to show for it, that I would have nothing to show for it. My parents never retired, like set up any kind of retirement money. They never taught us about 401k. So I was really, really vulnerable going out on my own at 15 because I didn't have a financial literacy. And so when I ended up moving out of my house, moving to Las Vegas and staying there for quite a number of years, I decided to go to school and to better myself and to learn financial literacy, learn things that I knew I was lacking. Because I was lacking in the financial area, I became very insecure in many other areas in life. And so that I noticed played a huge part on how I handled situations with people. I didn't have a car until my early 20s because I was like, what does this entail? I didn't have a house because I didn't know what it would require for me to buy a house. There were things that I wanted, I just didn't know how to get them. So when I ended up enrolling for college, I called my mother and I said, Mom, I want to go to college. This is what I want to do. And she became so anxious that she was like, I can't pay for you to go to college. I don't have the money for this. You can't go. And so I talked to my college registrar at UNLV and I explained to her, like, I want to go to college, but my mother thinks she has to pay for it. And she's like, no, you're just under 25. And the requirement is she has to fill this out as well. So after a week of going back and forth, explaining to my mother that no, you don't have to pay for it, I honestly thought it was because my mother didn't like me. And she felt like she didn't want to help me just because me and her had differences and I moved out at an early age. But in reality, it was that she still at the age that she was, didn't know how to manage money and she didn't have the money to give. So she panicked and she's like, I don't want my name tied to anything because I can't afford to send you to college. That was taken care of. That was long and gone. So I was able to go to college, get a financial literacy, a knowledge and understanding. As a result of that, when I went to college and learned, I started teaching my community. And with my Latino community, it is natural for us to just take a lot of money that we get, put it in a shoebox, stick that shoebox either in the closet or under the bed. We didn't actually have a savings account. So when I started teaching them about getting a savings account and, oh, did you know that you can retire at this age? You just need to put in this kind of money in this type of portfolio. It really opened the eyes in my community of wanting to do things. And at the time, my mother-in-law, she was like, I want to buy a house. How do I do that? So we went to the bank. I was a translator and I helped her understand what she needed to do to get a home. And in turn, that helped me understand more as I was learning myself. And so what I appreciate about the journey that I've been on in life when it comes to finances is that there is no such thing as I'm too late. Because I felt that I was too late. Even now, unfortunately, my dad does not have a 401k plan. He doesn't have retirement. So he's working and he's unfortunately 77 years old. And he'll basically work himself until he dies because he had nothing saved because he wasn't aware. Now he's trying to play catch up. And unfortunately, it's too late at this point. And so what I suggest is that finances is not just about, okay, making sure you don't have debt, making sure you budget, but it's really understanding what kind of life you want. What does it look like to be you for a month? Is it where you're like, okay, I've got enough money, I'm good, I can save, I can invest, whatever the case may be? Or is being you for a month mean I am stressing, I can't pay this bill, this one's going to be late, I don't even know where this bill came from. And it's just the stress of just all these bills piling up and you don't know what to do with it. Financial freedom starts with what you want your life to look like. If you can really sit there and be realistic, I'm not saying live outside your means. I'm not saying have this elaborate idea of wanting to live on the coast of Costa Rica. I'm saying where you're at in your life right now, where is it that you realistically want to be? Because you can get there. It might take some budgeting. It might take some cutting back on subscriptions. It might take, okay, I'm not going to go to Starbucks every day or I'm not going to eat out every day. And I'm not saying deprive yourself of these items, but I'm saying maybe limit them to have an end goal. And that end goal means that freedom to be able to breathe, know that your bills are paid, know that you're not sitting in debt, know that you're able to provide for your family. And the one thing that I do suggest that people do is that when you have a large amount of debt, I suggest that you work on one debt and then save. And what I mean by that is, let's say you have 5 credit cards that are all maxed out. Work on one and then continue to pay the minimum on the others. But at the same time that you're doing that, work on a savings account. And a good cushion to start off with is just $1,000. That may seem difficult for many. They're like, I will never get to that amount. You will. But if you stay there and you keep saying, I can't do this and I can't do this and I can't do this, then it's not going to work. So that's why a budget is so effective and so beneficial to reach that financial freedom, because you're going to know exactly where your money is going. You're going to say, this credit card, I'm going to pay this. I want this out of my face. This is what I'm going to do to get there. And then you go to the next item. But we're going to treat our savings account of that $1,000 like it's an owed bill. See, we know we're obligated to pay our debt back, but we don't pay ourselves. We think, okay, I'll have time to do that later. I'll have time to do that later. Debt is always going to be there. But if something unexpected happens, are we going to have the money to be able to take care of that? So we have to make sure that we are also paying ourselves in that savings. If you have good credit, then I suggest a high yield savings account. If your credit is lower because you have high debt, well, then let's just start off with a good old fashioned regular savings account where you're automatically having money deposited. And that way you don't have to worry about transferring it yourself. You don't have to worry about that stress. The idea of financial freedom is to live stress-free, to not have to worry about these things. Automating your bills is another plus. And that is something that I found personally to be a lifesaver, because all I do is look at my calendar and I say, okay, is any money coming out today? Yes. Okay. Then I know exactly what's coming out. That's it. Or I look and say, okay, I've got this coming out and maybe this is coming out tomorrow. Let me make sure I've got the funds in there to do that. And that's how you start being able to reach that freedom, because when you're able to hold yourself accountable and see, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do to get there, and then you're starting to execute it, it becomes so freeing and so liberating. And so for me, I'm able to take what I learned in my own life experiences and teach them now to my children. I am a single mother of 2. I do not have any fallback child support or anything like that. It is simply me and my children. I do work a full 9 to 5, and I do have my business, because I know mentally where I want to be and what it's going to look like to be me for a month. And I plan it all out. And sometimes it takes trial and error. Things come up, things change in life, and you have to reevaluate, reassess the situation. So I know that just because my parents did not set up that foundation for me doesn't mean that I can't set up for myself or my children. So because of what I learned, I am now able to break that cycle of not understanding financial literacy and teach it to my children, teach them about money, teach them about responsibility, teach them about good debt versus bad debt. If you get a car, if you get a house, that's considered good debt because something can come out of it, especially when you buy a home. Bad debt is borrowing more than you can afford. And that's what a lot of us in the US do. We borrow more than we can afford. So it is my job, it is my duty, it is my passion to help people to not live that way, to be able to actually say, this is the life that I want to live. This is what it's going to cost me to live like this for a month. And then let's times that by 12. And then let's see what it looks like for retirement. Because as we know, inflation and things go up. We don't want that to stress us out. We want our things to be automated. We want our life to be simple in this area. I can't say I can help with the rest of life, but I know financially this is something that we can harness. And so my suggestion is, if you haven't done it, take a look at your finances and really see, is financial freedom something that you want? And I always suggest that anybody go after it, because that's exactly what I did. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Cleo. Great job. We appreciate you. Good, 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 good. Everything you said made a whole lot of sense. That story and how you've been able to use your stories from your own experiences to help your clients now become better at their finances. It is just phenomenal. So
Thank
when you speak to your clients,
you.
do
Mhm.
you speak to them about this financial thing being a work in progress for them as well?
I do, because a lot of times things don't just happen overnight. So we have to continue to work at it. And there are times, even for the next month, like in September, I rewrote my budget at least 3 times to make sure it fit what I wanted my month to look like. So everything is always a work in progress until we reach that niche of that financial perfection, if you will. We're always going to keep working at it. And even then, once we have financial freedom, we're still going to have to make sure we're progressively going in that direction, because things can always happen.
I love it. I love it. Always be cognizant of it. Even if you're experiencing that freedom now, keep putting those tools in place so
Yes.
that you'll be prepared later. Okay. Cleo, how can they reach out to you if they want to get more of your great information?
So my website is called peaceandfinance.com. It'll have all my contact information. I'd love to hear from you.
All right. Reach out to Cleo Delamos at peaceandfreedom.com. Make sure you put that in the back room and we'll share that throughout the rest of the broadcast, Cleo. And thank you for being a part of the BTBY family, one of our
Thank
BTBS
you.
graduates. Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cleo. Enjoy the rest of your day. All right.
You too. Bye.
All right. That was some great information. I,
Yeah.
I yeah. I
I
tell
love to
people,
see people's dreams coming true too.
mm-hmm, yes. Regina, what did you think about that presentation?
I was opening up my mouth to say, even with her screen being blurry, there was consistency in her story as she walked through. You could stay with the flow of her story. And so I love that. And the financial piece, that is one of the parts when we talk about the holistic approach to our people as they walk on this journey. I love the way she walks it. I love the transparency that she laid out as she walked through that story. But I was struggling to see that screen. But I was loving the story. The comedian in me, when I was looking at the screen, I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. Just close your eyes and pay attention to the story because she's rolling. Keep with the
She
Yeah,
story.
is.
Don't look at the screen.
And what a
It was
beautiful
amazing.
smile she's got. She's got a
Yes.
beautiful
yes,
smile.
she does. She
Yes.
does. Now, when I used to go to church, I mean, that I always
Mhm.
learned from the pastor. He said, "Don't miss the message because you're focusing on the messenger." And I think that's so
Mhm.
apropos. Many
Yes.
times, especially in this virtual world, if it glitches, if it's too slow, if you can't get on the feed, then what do? We give up. We just log out, or we tune out, and then we miss that critical piece of information that's going to help us along our journey towards becoming that work in progress. So
Yes.
sometimes you just got to look for the message despite the messenger. Would you agree with that, Anthony?
Yeah, I feel like right now Cleo's in the back going like, I didn't even know I had anything the matter with my screen. She had such, and I want to give credit to you guys that she's been through the speaking class because she had just such a, and to me it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, Regina was just being very mean there, but I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, her tonality. I see her screen's moving enough now. I see her laughing and back. Her
Yes.
tonality was so good that it did not matter. That was the thing. Like her ability to carry her story and tell her story from point A to point Z. She linked everything together, and
Yes, she
it
did.
made it was very
Yes.
powerful again, and it was yeah. I in this world of bad technology, sometimes it doesn't bother me, and she did a fantastic job rolling with it. So.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
we
Well,
taught her that in the BTBS
Yes.
we
Academy.
did.
Yes.
And while we're talking about the speaking class, our class is not free, but here we collaborate. We don't compete. But Anthony does have a free class. Why don't you tell him about it?
Yeah, so I'm not going to tell you about the class. I would encourage you guys, if you ever want to come to just a free workshop. I call it Toastmasters on steroids, because it really is. It's a workshop on Wednesday nights, and if you like working with me there, then then maybe you can take the class if that's what you want to do. But if you go to doubledownspeaking.com, you can learn more about it. That's it. It's and a lot of it is the stuff that you guys do as well. But Wednesday is just a fun class. I give about 15 minutes of teaching, and really we actually do a workshop where you all have a chance to take a quote and turn it into your own. And then I give a little bit of tips and critique and some positivity, and we have fun. We have about 6 to 8 people that come each week. Some of them new, some of them people that keep coming. So yeah.
It's a
That's
great place
fantastic.
to get some info. You just never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah,
Right.
and some of your students, invite your students. Again, it's free, and it's not about getting them to the class, the end game class. It's literally a great place to hone your skills and just get a little bit of practice each week, and it's fun.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
the beauty of being in the BTBY family, as Brenda said, we don't compete, we collaborate. We know that they may not resonate with me, they may not resonate with Brenda, they may not resonate with Regina, but they may resonate with you, Anthony. Yeah, I call it queen, but it's a whole other thing. They may resonate with you, Anthony, and that's the next progression of where they need to go. We are always promoting everybody in our tribe. We live by the association. We live by the affiliation. We know that none of us are going to get to where we need to go on our own, but all of us have the ability to bring somebody up. So definitely, if you want to put your information in the back, Anthony, we'll put it out there just like we're putting everybody else's information out there. And for Cleo, we say when you're going through the storm, whether it's a physical storm or a virtual storm, keep going. All right, Regina, you got our next speaker. Who might that be?
Our next speaker, hold on. Handy dandy notebook. Handy dandy notebook. Is our next one Jill? Is that our next speaker? Is it Jill? Is it Jill Reynolds? Is it the game changer? Is it the one that leans in and assists and supports? Is it the resilient overcomer? Is it the challenger of life? Is it Jill, my friend, who runs her own station where she puts out information? Is it Jill that speaks and never allows any of us to get weak? Come forward so we can hear from a game changer that has walked with us, talked with us, created with us, loved on us, and we've watched healing take place. Come in, dear queen, and spill out this message for the dream.
And she's the winner of the last BTBY class, the best last speaker class.
And can I answer your question, Regina? Yes.
What? It is her. Hey, Jill, how are you?
Well, hey, guys, I'm here with almost laryngitis, but I am here.
Well, we are glad you are here. Take your time. The stage is yours. This is Jill Reynolds.
Well, thank you so much for having me today on the Becoming the Better You live virtual. I am Jill Reynolds, and I am the resilient braveheart who loves to inspire hope, health, and healing in the world. And I love this conference's title of Are You a Work in Progress? Because yes, I am. I have been a work in progress for 42.53 years, 510 months, 15,535 days, and 372,830 hours. That is the time when I chose to recover from crack cocaine addiction and alcoholism. And I found a saving relationship with God who delivered me fully from those addictions and began my recovery progress. And it was about 2 years later, after I was completely delivered from drugs and alcohol at 28 years old, that I hit a bottom when my son was 2 years old. You see, I was too a single, never married mom. And at 2 years old, when my son was 2 years old, I spanked him really hard for putting his toys in the wrong basket. And at that moment, I realized that I was insane. I was off of drugs and alcohol, you see, but I was considered a dry drunk, meaning that even though I wasn't drinking, I still had the issues that had prolonged for years since my childhood that led me into drugs and alcohol. So when he was 2 years old, a friend of mine, Terry, said, Jill, you need to get to AA as quick as you can. And so I did. And that began that journey of becoming a better me and becoming a work in progress. And so at 70 years old today, I have learned one of the program's acronyms is how it works. And how does recovery work? It takes honesty, the H, it takes open-mindedness, and it takes a willingness to get well and to grow and get stronger and learn how to share your story that will inspire others with hope, health, and healing. So I would come to you today and encourage you to keep along your journey of being a work in progress. Keep telling people your story because your story matters to the world and to me. And you were created for such a time as this to share that story with others. And so part of my story, I'll go back that I've moved from being a victim into victory. You see, I was raised in a really dysfunctional home with lots of physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. My mom was married 3 times. My father was the lifeline in our family, but my mom started having marital affairs. And when she did, and her and my dad divorced, she married 2 men that were alcoholics. One was bisexual and a bigamist, and they were very abusive to not only my mom, but me. However, I didn't know that they were abusive to me because, you see, I had become a raving codependent. And because my mom was my primary abuser, I leaned more towards the stepfathers than my own mother because, you see, they paid more attention to me than she did. She despised me and never wanted me. And so I had this burden as a little girl growing up that I would never, ever connect with others because she told me no one would ever like you. And I never had boundaries because we were locked out of the house with no food or bathroom privileges for hours at a time. And so you see, with those burdens that I lived with, they stayed with me. And so I became extraordinarily vulnerable to other people in the world abusing me as well. And so when the first boy that I liked in high school when I was 14 invited me over, within about 20 minutes of being there, he date raped me. And I hid that secret and for at least 35 years because I felt like if my dad knew, he would kill him. And if my mom knew, she would blame me. So I kept that secret for years and years. And the way to be able to cope with it, I ended up getting addicted to White Cross amphetamines so that the more I took, the least I would eat and the smaller I would become and I would be invisible. You see, I didn't want anyone to notice me. And so that journey took off and I had gotten into so much trouble in high school, cutting classes. And I was so blessed to have a school who started a program for the 10 worst freshman girls. Yep, I was one of them. That was my accolade in high school. And so I started going to these classes and they really began to change me in high school. And I was able, after flunking out of freshman class, I was able to finish high school in 2.5 years. And, but when I got to be 18 years old, on my 18th birthday, I could not wait to leave home. So with $25 in my pocket and a suitcase filled with clothes, I left home not knowing anywhere to go. I met some people on the streets And my first roommates that I lived with in Old Town Chicago began the trajectory of my education, kind of like angels. I'm from the School of Hard Knocks, which was the streets, and I learned how to survive. And so I began that journey of living in Chicago, partying with rock and roll stars, and my roommate that I with Kathy was a Playboy bunny. And I lived in the city for about 6-7 months, and then I hitchhiked and ended up living for about 9 months in Phoenix, Arizona. I met a girl there, and we ended up hitchhiking up the coast of California to Oregon. I lived in Oregon and then ended up in San Diego. When I got to San Diego, I was about 19 and a half, and I started working in bars and restaurants. And one night I met a guy at a bar who was a long-haired hippie, a surfer, but he was a cocaine dealer. And so I fell madly in love with him and ended up starting to do cocaine. And that was my road to destruction, because the more I tried coke and the more I did it, the more I loved it. And it gave me control, because you see, growing up, believe it or not, being a lost child, I never spoke. And the cocaine gave me the ability to start talking and sharing my thoughts and my feelings. And it perpetuated where I ended up acting out in many ways. One of them, similar to Angel, working at bachelor parties, dancing at an all-nude club. And I really had lost my soul, and I had lost my total identity, whatever identity it was. And it wasn't until years later of doing these things, again, partying with rock and roll stars, that I realized I needed something more. And so one day I went to a church in San Diego that, if any of you have seen the movie Jesus Revolution, which was about the revolution of the hippies of the 70s living in California, that ended up being high on drugs and going to church. Well, that was me. I was part of the Jesus Revolution. And so I went to this one church one day, high on cocaine, and the pastor of the church, Mike McIntosh, who's a recovered heroin addict, was doing an altar call and inviting people forward to accept the Lord. And as he was saying this, and he said that there was someone in the line that had to, my knee jumped. And I pushed it down thinking it was the drugs. Well, a minute later, he said it again, and both knees twitched. And I pushed him down again. And a minute later, he said, this person must come forward. And my legs could not quit moving. So I leaped out of my chair and went forward. And I asked Jesus to be the Lord and Savior of my life. And I went home that night, and I prayed for about 5 straight months, asking for help. And the help that came was that I had a fight with my roommate, which we decided not to be roommates. I got a tubular infection, which could have killed me. And I got fired from my job because I was high at work every day. And so instead of being scared and helpless, I felt this amazing peace come over me, which led me to leave San Diego and decide to move back to Chicago. When I got back to Chicago, I was again bartending, and a guy at the bar talked about this church down the street called Willow Creek Community Church. And that next day was Sunday. I woke up, started going to church, and I really felt God was changing my life. And at that point, I really could feel like I was and am a work in progress. You see, we do have the ability to have second chances. And that's what I love so much about becoming the better you, and the team and the community there that helps you and me come alongside of each other to change our lives. And God has had me on a journey for 45 years now in recovery, with codependency, with drugs, alcohol, eating disorders, anxiety, and depression. And I'm still a work in progress. And I still love that saying, I, for one, need all of you to come alongside of me. And I would love to come alongside of you on the weekend of September 13th and 14th to change our lives and to become a better you. Thank you so much, and I will see you in Kansas City. So register now. God bless you.
All right, Jill Reynolds, God bless you. She is our winner of the BTBS Academy, and you just saw why. That was a great presentation for you, Jill, and we love what you not only do here with BTBY, but what you're doing in your own neck of the woods down there in Branson, Missouri, with the Braveheart Network. Tell them a little bit about your network.
Well, thank you so much, Terrence. And yes, my company is called Braveheart Workshops, but I also have a second one called Doing Business as Branson Taxi and Concierge Service. And in my past, before moving from Chicago to Branson, I was a director of sales and general manager at hotels, Terrence, that were in receivership with the bank. So I learned how to utilize amazing event and meeting planning skills to start my own businesses. And it's thriving. My phone has rang about 6 times since I was on in 15 minutes for rides. And I'm just helping the community here in Branson to get around safely. And I've had the privilege of having Brenda Ringwood speak at the Resilient Braveheart Conference. And we just continue inspiring hope, health, and healing around the world, don't we, Brenda?
We do. And let's keep doing it. Let's bring it.
Let's bring it on.
Absolutely. So, Jill, how can they get in contact with you? You know, there's definitely people that are interested in one or both of your businesses. How can they reach out to you if they just can't wait till September 13th to see your face?
Well, it's easy. My company is called Braveheart Workshops with an S on the end. So braveheartworkshops.com. You can reach me there, and it's got my phone number. It's got all my social media links. And I also have a podcast show called The Connection Show and Braveheart Workshops. So you can definitely go to my YouTube channel, The Connection Show and Braveheart Workshops. And I just interviewed 3 of the speakers that are coming to BTBY. It's going to be, I interviewed Aaron Page and Kevin Wilson and Andy Nam. So go to the page now so you can listen to those interviews as well.
Absolutely.
And something that Jill does, we talk about our community and how people really just volunteer and really reach in. Every event, she's volunteered her services. She's volunteered her car services. She picks up speakers. She drops them off at the venue. She takes them back and forth to the airport. That's a lot of work. And she does it with love. So I just want to say thank you, Jill. And you're doing it again. You're doing it again at the
I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate you all.
Yes. And Jill is the epitome of letting you know it's never too late to continue to be a work in progress. Thanks, Jill. We'll see you soon. Okay?
Jill, thank you so much.
Take it easy, Jill.
All
If anybody
right.
hasn't, by the way, seen Jesus Revolution, fantastic movie. I watched it about 4 or 5 months ago. Really, really great movie. And Kelsey Grammer's in it. Good stuff.
Okay. Great. Well, we are moving along. We are getting on the back end of what's happening on this great day. Phenomenal speakers from start to right now. Hopefully we've given you everything you need to go ahead and click that link and swipe that card, because you know that in order for you to be the work in progress that you want to be, it's like Saucony said, you can't do it by yourself. You've gone as far as you can go on your own. Let us take you to the next level of your greatness, and let us do it for you for 20% off. Get that BTBY code and go on over to comechangeyourlife.com so that we can help you in your personal development. We can help you in service. We can help you in your financial literacy, and we can help you in your health and wellness. Become a better you. We're all works in progress, and we're ready to work with you so that you can make progress on becoming the better you. ComeChangeYourLife.com. Don't meet us there. Beat us there. Kansas City, September 13th through the 14th. All right, we've got the great speaker, Anthony Russo, up. He's going to be introducing who our next speaker is.
Are we doing Lisa or are we doing Caleb? I know because we're a little bit ahead of time now, so I want to make sure we're doing the right person.
Yes, we're doing.
And I will do either.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Caleb.
Yes. We'll leave the comment and go with Caleb.
Okay, so we are going with Caleb next. I want to be clear because Brenda said something else. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
We're all.
Lisa's in back.
Yes.
I see Lisa doing this because we said Lisa.
Schedule. Lisa was on. Caleb wasn't yet, but we're going to stick with schedule. So Lisa, get ready because you better be bringing it now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you know what that was like? That's like when you're on a road trip. I'm sure this is what I feel like if I was Lisa. You're on a road trip. You got to go to the bathroom really bad. You see the bathroom right there, and then it's locked. And you'd already like in your head But Lisa, I know you're going to be talented and able to go after. With that said, we're going to go to Caleb. Caleb is next. So Caleb, we're excited for this speaker. He's here. He's here a little early, so it's great that we're able to bring him on at this time. He is a staunch Christian, Army veteran, former police officer, and he teaches the #1 financial hack of the wealthy so you can supercharge your investments too. Thank you very much for your service in all aspects of life. And let's introduce to the stage Caleb Bullard.
Hey, Caleb. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. It's so nice to be here. Thank you guys for coordinating this and putting this all on. This is such a blessing to everybody that's been listening in. Like you said, the phenomenal speakers that have come in today are just incredible. Brenda was the one that told me about this, and she coordinated everything, put it all together, got the time slots going. So huge kudos to you guys. If anybody listening and hasn't thanked you guys yet, I encourage you to, because this is amazing, right? When you get an opportunity to hear from such wonderful speakers and be part of a culture that's so positive, right? So
definitely. I'm glad you finished the word culture, Caleb. I thought you were going to say be part of a cult. It was very confusing at first. So I'm glad you.
I love that.
Caleb, have at it.
That's awesome, Anthony. But everybody, welcome. So glad to have you guys listening in. I really respect your time. My goal is to bring as much value as possible in the short 15-20 minutes that we have together here. So I got the time at 5:07 Eastern. I'm coming from the East Coast, and I'll get this thing wrapped up for us in about 15-20 minutes or so. But again, super thankful to have all you guys here. Kind of want to start by asking you all a question. Where are finances holding you back? I want you to think about that, and whatever it may be, maybe just haven't been able to achieve the dreams that you want to be able to achieve. You're just not as far ahead in life as you wanted to be because of, finances, things coming up, things costing money, inflation. I mean, there's so many different factors. So I want to tell you guys a quick little story. My grandparents were incredibly hard workers. They worked hard for 30 plus years together. And I saw them save and save and save, pour money into, they had a variable account called a 401k, and they pumped money into that, thought they're going to be good to go in retirement. And they were starting out. Things were going very well. And I don't know if anybody here has a variable account. Just kind of think of what kind of investments you currently have. Variable meaning that anything that goes up or down with the stock market. Well, my grandparents retired, and then something happened a couple years ago. Who here can remember the pandemic, right? COVID-19. Yeah, it took a huge impact or played a big part on the economy, going down 30-40% during that time. And I saw my grandparents, who had one of those variable accounts, have to go work out of retirement. They had to go back from when they should have been enjoying their golden years. They had to go back and work a job because they didn't want to pull from their account when the markets were already down. Then when it goes back up, it's kind of like a double whammy. So I kind of set out on a path to make sure that no one I know, no one that I can share the message with, has to experience that. Obviously don't want to experience that myself. So I kind of set out on a path to find that right information. So my name is Caleb Bullard. I'm a financial strategist. I help people. I educate them on the #1 hack of the wealthy that they can use themselves to be able to implement and fast track their current investments to be able to supercharge them. So that when it comes to retirement, there's no stress, there's no unknowns, that's guaranteed. But a little background on me real quick. It's more about you guys, me giving you value, but so you understand where I'm coming from. I grew up in a good house. Right out of high school, I was trying to figure out what to do. I always enjoyed, war movies, things like that. Wanted to be just like dad and joined the military. Did the Army for 6 years as a combat medic. Once I got out of that, I went to college, got my degree, continue to want to serve. And it led me into, police or law enforcement as a police officer. I did that for a couple of years, but going back to the Army service, I don't know if you guys can ever think of like yourselves and your life, like how different events have kind of like shaped the path that you've taken with your life, right? I mean, a lot of the speakers here are speaking about certain topics because of their life circumstances, and just one thing led to another. I really feel like it's God leading us, and sometimes it's not comfortable with Him directing our path, right? Whatever you believe in. But for me, it was when I was in law enforcement, I realized because I had a back injury from the Army that I just could no longer continue to serve in that capacity as a police officer due to, back pain. I'm sure that everybody here has a situation where you're going down a path in life and God was like, nope, not this way. We're going this way. And, there's some things outside of your control that happen. You just got to go with it and make the most of it. So at that time, when I was trying to figure out what else to do at 2 years in law enforcement, that's when all this stuff happened to my grandparents. Let's see here. Angel Prater just said, nice, Caleb. Sure love who you are. Thank you for all you have brought to the world. Aw. Yeah, Angel was at a recent event that we went to in Miami, Florida, and she's an incredible lady with an incredible story, changing a lot of lives. But I realized that, where I was at, I couldn't keep doing what I was doing. I had to find something else. And when that happened at the same time with my grandparents having to go back to work, it was kind of like eye-opening. I don't know if you guys have ever had a moment in your life where something happened and kind of like your whole perspective on something changed. Well, my perspective changed. I was of the same mindset. I was just going to, work hard, put a little bit of money aside in some kind of variable account, and then, be able to retire one day. And that's great. But with inflation, increase of taxes, everything else that comes into play, it doesn't really work anymore. Forbes actually released an article recently saying that the average retirement account from a 60 to 69-year-old only has $160,000 in it. So I want you guys to kind of think to yourselves, how much money are you going to need in order to retire? So whatever number you're coming up with right now, I just want to tell you what Forbes has actually said, that the average person about to retire around 65 years old needs actually $2 million in your account to retire. So how many here are close to that? The background keeps messing up with the hand gestures, but how many of you here are close to the, that 2 million mark to be able to retire? And I know it's not a lot of Americans, because 68% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Again, according to Forbes, like this is all research data. And it's so sad to me when that doesn't have to be the case. But the problem is, in our educational system, it's good, but people really aren't taught how money works. How does money grow? How is money taxed? What's the best ways to get my money to grow faster? Because there's really 3 ways that our money can grow. And let me back up to this. Let me ask you guys, have you ever heard of the rule of 72? You're thinking about the rule of 72. You're like, what is this guy talking about? Well, Albert Einstein actually considered it to be the 8th wonder of the world, and it's just compounding interest. So to make an easy example of it, you take the number 72 and you divide it by whatever interest rate that there is. So 72 divided by 1% interest rate. If your money's growing at 1% interest rate, it's going to take you 72 years for your money to double. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't got 72 years for my money to double, right? I want to be able to make it double much faster than that. So our goal is to move some money into an account that has a much higher interest rate, so our money's doubling faster than at a lower interest rate account. And then you look into like the different kinds of accounts you can put money in, right? You got banks. Banks are great because you have that safety, that security up to $250,000. Your money's FDIC insured. You got the liquidity of it. You can go up to an ATM, right? I'm sure you can think of like your local branch, or just go into a store and go into the ATM, grab the money out very quick, very easy. Then you got something like a variable account. And again, when I say variable account, think of anything that just goes up and down with the market. So your mutual funds, your 401ks, any military here, thank you for your service. You guys have that TSP with the military, and that's growing for you. But all that stuff goes up and down with the market. And certain programs like the 401k, you actually have to wait until 59 and a half to be able to withdraw that money from having to pay penalties on it. And then you have a strategy that the wealthy have been using for over 100 years, which is indexed like growth. I don't know if you guys have heard of like indexed growth by chance, but basically what that means is if the market goes up, you go up with it. That's great. But if the market goes down, you don't go down. You lock in at 0%, you stay flat, and it's kind of like a stair-step progression over time. So I can actually tell you exactly how much you're going to have in retirement based on how much you're putting in. And we never have to make up for losses in the market with these kind of accounts, which is great. So in those negative years of, 2008, during the time of COVID, just recently the stock market crashed. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, 1,000 points. It was wild. But during all those times, imagine not losing a penny and your money just locks in. But then when the market starts to go back up, you get to participate in that. Imagine how far ahead you'd already be if you started doing that, right? So this is great information, by the way. Like, I wish I would have known this like way earlier. And then you got to look at like how money's taxed too. So like, yes, okay, I want to get my money into an indexed account, right? Because I want to make sure I get that, the gains, and I don't, participate in any of the losses of the market. But also we got to look at like how money's taxed, because taxes play a big role. So the question I'll ask all you guys is, when you got taxed the first time, you remember you get your first job, you got taxed and you saw that. How did that like make you feel? Like, were you like excited about them taking money out of your paycheck? Probably not. I was kind of aggravated. I was like, what is this? Like, taxes? This is crazy. I heard somebody say once that like growing up is kind of like the subscription. And then once you're like an adult, then like you got the free subscription. And then when you're the adult, you got to start paying the subscription. They're talking about taxes. That was kind of funny. But you've got tax now. So that's when you get your money, you're getting taxed on it, whether you're 1099, W-2, you have to pay taxes on that money. And then when you go to invest it, you invest it. And when you withdraw it, you're going to have to pay taxes on it again. So obviously probably not the best case scenario if you're trying to get our money to grow as fast as possible. The next best scenario is one of those variable accounts, because it's usually found through like an employer plan. I'm sure you heard of, employers having 401ks, things like that. And when you invest into it, it comes out of your paycheck into it, and you don't have to pay taxes on it right away. You're deferring the taxes later on. And then when you withdraw the money, you're going to have to pay taxes on it. And I'll ask all you guys here, do you think that taxes are going to be more or less in the future? So if we follow the trend, it's most likely going to be more. So I encourage you to try and find like a different account. And like what I found is there's a strategy that the wealthy really love. You got the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Walt Disney even used this kind of a policy, this program, to start Disney World. Without it, he wouldn't be able to do so. And now you look at Disney World, it's incredible. One of my friends is over there right now enjoying the activities over there. And what the strategy is called is tax advantaged. I don't know if you guys ever heard of tax advantage, but it's utilizing the tax codes that are out there in order to put your money into this account. Hey, Terrence, put this money into this account, and you're putting it in after you pay taxes on it yourself, but it's going to grow in this account tax-free, and you're going to be able to withdraw the funds from this account tax-free as well, which is completely incredible to me, right? I mean, who would love to be able to grow your money tax-free and withdraw it tax-free? And you don't got to wait till 59 and a half if you wanted to use the funds from it. So there's a lot of cool benefits with it that come along with it as well. You got the TEFRA, DEFRA, TAMRA tax codes. All this stuff's been around for a good long while. It's nothing that's new. Like I said, the wealthy have been using this stuff for over 100 years. So I don't want to take up the next speaker's time. I want to kind of wrap things up here in the last minute or two that I've got and be respectful of everybody's time. But I would love to have a conversation with each and every one of you just to see how we can supercharge your current investments and protect you from any kind of losses in the market, which is very important as you're nearing retirement, right? We want to have guarantees in our retirement. You ask anybody to say, would you want guarantees? No guarantees. Obviously, everyone's going to say guarantees. Would you want to know exactly what you're going to have? How long you're going to be able to pull your money in retirement? Everybody's going to say yes. But unfortunately, only 67% of Americans have sat down with a financial strategist like myself to discuss these different options that are out there to see how we can make your money work harder for you. But with that being said, thank you so much, everybody, for listening in. If you'd like to learn more, You can follow me on Instagram, Caleb Bull33, CALEB BULL 33. And I'd be happy to have a conversation with you, offer some more free value. There's way more to it than I could put into the short 15-minute session that I have with you guys. My goal is just to bring value, pique your curiosity and different options that are out there to get your money growing even faster.
Absolutely. You know, it's like you said, it's kind of hard to put all of that into 15 minutes, but we love how you gave us that sizzle. You gave us that desire to get that information, ask some questions, and now we can get back in contact with you and have more of a intelligent conversation of where we're going to be going and how you can help us get to the next level. Because as we've said, you know, we are works in progress in our finances as well. So we love people just like you who can give us this information. So Caleb, tell us again how they can reach out to you to have that consultation with you.
Yes, the greatest ways to reach out to me, you can either like hit me up on my phone number. It's 716-863-7795. Again, 716-863-7795. But if it's easier for you, if you don't want to give your number out, anything like that, you can follow me on social media on Instagram. It's Caleb Bull 33, CALEB BULL, the number 33.
All right. Caleb Bull, number 33 on social media. Reach out to him, get this great information so that you can continue to be a work in progress in your finances. Thank you so much, Caleb, for your time, and we appreciate you coming on the BTBY Work in Progress virtual experience. Thank you, sir.
And are you getting to the event in September?
I'm going to do my darndest. I'm up in
better get there.
now with the presidential campaign on the side because I want to get into politics down the road. But as long as I can, I'll be there.
Well, you and Anthony need to talk because he likes politics too.
Yes.
And I feel like we might be on the same team. All right, moving on. Caleb, have you ever thought about, and not politics, but with the last name Bullard, have you ever like branded your stuff around, like, since you do finances, Bull Market Bullard? I don't know.
That's a really good idea. I actually haven't thought of that, but I'm so glad that you mentioned that, and I'm open up to any ideas as I'm starting to brand myself. So I love that. Thank you.
The Bull Market. Anyways, all right, that's it. Maybe that's your podcast.
It's catchy.
It's catchy.
It's catchy. We can do it.
Caleb. I appreciate you.
We appreciate you, Caleb. Have a great day. All right.
You too, guys. Great seeing you.
Thank you.
That was Caleb Bullard. Caleb Bullard 33 on all social media, or you can reach out to him. He dropped his number up there again. We'll give that out to you guys so you can reach out and have a consultation with him so that you can become a better you. All right, moving on along to our next speaker. I believe the stepologist is going to introduce our next speaker.
Hold on here. Let me get this. This is Lisa Heathford. This lady right here, I love her already because in her introduction, she calls herself the happy big girl. And y'all know I'm on big girl status. And here we go right here. She says that she is a certified financial planner who gave away her practices to live an experiment in a quantum physics life. Come on now. The purpose of the experiment is to show that by letting go of fear, we allow the miracles of God intends, the miracles God intends for us into our lives. And so Lisa is going to come forward, and Lisa is going to open us up to a new level of experiencing life through the lenses of letting go of fear and releasing others to see the truth here. Come on, Lisa. Big girl, AKA girl.
Hey, Lisa, go ahead and unmute yourself. Welcome to the show.
Hey, friends. How y'all doing?
Ooh,
we doing good. Great to have you here. It's a pleasure to have you on the BTBY experience. And why don't you tell us where you're from, and then we're going to turn the stage right on over to you, okay?
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. And I'm Asheville, North Carolina native at this point, I suppose. But I guess it's my turn, right? So I'll just go.
Go for it.
All right. Hello, friends. I'm Lisa Heathfield, Happy Big Girl. I help people who struggle with the stress of modern living to find happiness in this era. My purpose is to help others best enjoy this human experience. But before we can enjoy this experience to its fullest, we must acknowledge some difficult truths while maintaining a spirit of optimism so that we can move forward as individuals and as a society. I am so thankful for the chance to speak at this Be the Better You event, because it is in rooms like this one that change is born. I, like many daughters to first-generation Chinese mothers, was raised to be invisible. In my early life, I was so starved for attention and love that I took it from any source that offered it. And as a result, I've experienced emotional, physical, sexual, and financial abuse. After my first husband had a mental break when I was 34, I found myself a single mother, bringing home $1,600 a month with bills of $2,000, 42 grand in credit card debt, solely responsible for my 9-year-old son. In those dark days, I was advised to sell my car, file bankruptcy, and accept that my life would be a struggle. Logically, this was the correct course of action. And if I had accepted the circumstances as static, who knows where I'd be today? Instead, I rejected the role my family, friends, and society had assumed for me. I applied for a promotion so far above my pay grade that 7 levels of corporate override had to occur for me to get the position. And I became the first premier banker in Western North Carolina for SunTrust Bank. My son and I would not have to struggle. I was able to pay off the debt, purchase a home, and continue to climb the corporate ladder. And by 2021, I'd made it. I was a certified financial planner and a financial advisor with a thriving book of business, in charge of my own schedule, building wealth, and able to take multiple vacations a year with my family. I could have stayed in the beautiful little universe I'd made. Until June of this year, when it became impossible for me to justify my role investing my clients' money with the large corporations who have too much influence in our government and degraded the quality of life for so many in this great land. So I did what any normal person would do, and I gave away my practice to live and experiment in quantum physics. And what that means is I follow my highest calling, do not attach to outcome, and have confidence that God and the universe are always conspiring in my favor. When I was in grade school, we learned about the solar system, how the planets orbit the sun, and a few years later, we were taught the composition of atoms, protons and electrons circling the nucleus. The building block of all matter shared the same structure as our solar system, and I saw that these were the same things built to different scales. I thought everyone could see it, so I kept my mouth shut. The secret to my survival has been in learning to view situations from a big picture perspective. Understand that in times when I had been abused, I had no control over what had happened, but I had control over how I reacted. And when circumstances appear hopeless, there is always greater opportunity than meets the eye. But the only way to see it is from above your pain, above your frustration, but most of all, above your fear. We cannot control the world around us, but each of us has the ability to control how it affects us. In researching my little experiment, I came across quantum string theory. It is hypothesized that the smallest particles of the universe, called quants, are tiny strings vibrating at different frequencies to create all that is. Everything is energy. Everything is vibration. We are energy. We are vibration. Quantum string theory hypothesizes that two particles, though they may be light years apart, can be intrinsically linked with one another. Entanglement is what it's called. And I believe we have all seen evidence of this theory play out in the coincidences that we encounter in our daily lives. And by giving greater attention to these coincidences, we increase the likelihood of future coincidences, great and small, that tie together in ways unseen to contribute to the healing of ourselves, our society, and planet. It was November of last year when I started giving serious attention to these coincidences. I'd been staying with my dad, who's got some major health problems because my mom was out of town. And one night, following a long day spent in the ER for his breathing troubles and where he'd been hit by a truck at the hospital drop-off, he said, "No matter what, I'm always grateful. Every day is a gift," and pointed to this sign that he has had on his wall since undergoing cancer treatment 7 years ago. Grateful, it said, and it just pretty remarkable coming from a guy who could barely breathe and had been hit by a truck that day. Well, I'd recently learned that emotions emit specific frequencies, with shame and fear at the bottom, love and gratitude near the top. I shared this info with my dad, and we had the realization that his vibration of gratitude was the reason, despite the physical pain and coming within a hair's reach of death many times over the last 7 years, he had stayed grateful and therefore stayed alive. The next morning, driving from his house, the license plate of the car in front of me read "Grateful One," and I've got a picture of it if anyone wants to see. In that moment, it became clear that there is no such thing as coincidences, that Albert Einstein was right. They're God's way of remaining anonymous. Since that day, I've been giving attention and gratitude for the coincidences that come my way and following the guidance they imply to bring me to this moment. And I am grateful for the opportunity to offer my perspective. To me, the coincidences are not just evidence of quantum string theory within our reality, but also miracles from God intended to give us confirmation we are on the right path, and are also his way of giving us the tools and connections we need to carry out our purpose. I can attest that the strength and frequency increases with the attention given. Like my experience at the 10X workshop, my first foray into the world of motivational speaking, which started with answering a random ad to compete in the Great American Speak Off, a golden ticket, a canceled flight, then a drive through a hurricane to find the group of people I've been searching my whole life for, and connecting with Brenda, who gave me this massive opportunity, my very first stage. And it is my hope that all of you will start receiving a deluge of synchronicities, give gratitude to Source for the miracles they are, so that we can use these new connections to change our lives and the lives of others for the better. 4.5 years ago, we went through an unprecedented global event that forever altered the course of human history and accelerated change in areas that affect every facet of our lives. At the outset of the pandemic, we were collectively thrust into the frequency of fear that those in this room have found the courage and fortitude to move past, and we must not dim our lights, but live as examples to inspire others. It's undeniable that the world we were raised for, the one that mirrored the America of yesterday, is gone, replaced by these uncertain times. The fundamentals changed so greatly that America is once again a frontier, and we, the entrepreneurs, change makers, and way showers, are its pioneers. It is not a physical frontier we are settling this time, but one of mindset and connection to settle a future that we will be proud to hand over to our children. I understand that I'm preaching to the choir, but adaptability, authenticity, and resilience, but most of all, collaboration, will be the determinant to our success going forward, not sticking to formulas of old. We need to be illuminating our intertwined stories as examples for all those still stuck in the matrix to be inspired by. I keep getting hints to mention the story of the bison from my Facebook feed, art galleries, and even a mounted bison that hangs over a friend's fireplace. I can't get away from them lately. Most of you are probably familiar, so if you've heard the story before, sorry to bore you. The bison, a symbol of abundance and strength, have made a comeback from near extinction thanks to conservation efforts. However, it is a peculiarity of their nature that makes them so interesting to me. You see, when a snowstorm is coming, most animals of the plains will run away in hopes to outrun the wind, snow, and bitter cold. These animals are rarely successful using this method and inevitably extend their time in the frozen purgatory. But the mighty bison are much smarter than this. They intuitively know that the fastest way out is through, and instead of running away, will run into the storm and they do not stop running until they have reached the other side, safe from threat. It sounds unpleasant, but man, is it effective. Us, the entrepreneurs, have a lot in common with these bison. We have risked it all to take ourselves out of a life in which compensation is determined by your advancement at a corporate job and turned into the storm of uncertainty that comes with being your own boss to feed our families, our souls, and enrich the lives of others. We need to get comfortable operating through this frontier and meet others with the common goal of sustainable change for humanity with openness, even when their views do not perfectly mirror our own. Feels like most people will only communicate with those that think exactly as they do, and progress does not come from disconnected echo chambers. I'd almost given up hope until I moved out of my fear of being seen and allowed deep and authentic connection at 10x with like-minded people. We already possess many of the solutions to our economic, environmental, and societal problems, and we cannot let fear stand in the way of the collaboration needed to make them reality. I have one radical belief. I believe most people are mostly good, most of the time. Over these last 4 years, though, the prevailing tone of society has become suspicious, distrusting, and it seems like people are more focused on finding fault and defending beliefs justified by fear than seeking truth. As a society, we've lost touch with ourselves. Overall, we need more curiosity and less judgment. But there's no wonder why we're acting this way when we've been traumatized on a global scale, every last one of us. And the result is us leaning more heavily on belief systems as a means to gain some control in a chaotic world. Before we are ready to form a collective that is truly effective, we need to take some time and get reacquainted with ourselves. Be an active participant in self-discovery, analyzing our experiences and how they've informed our beliefs and how it's shaped our worldview. Be gentle but unforgiving throughout this process. And when it hurts, you're on the right track. Keep going. Like Brenda, who did a remarkable 35,000 hours of self-reflection, I also took a deep dive into the abyss. Though painful at times, it was the most worthwhile thing I have ever done. And as a work in progress, I set aside time each day for self-reflection. I understand that time is money and that entrepreneurs are pulled in many directions, from building that business to taking care of their families, and that time for yourself can feel like an unaffordable luxury. I urge all of you to think of this time not as a luxury, but an investment you are making into being the better you. And the better you has a better business. This newfound knowledge of your true self may be at odds with your current reality, but with a freshly open mind and the vanquishment of limiting beliefs, you'll see paths towards your desired life where before you saw only obstacles. As a person who's ventured far off the charted course, it's difficult but doable as long as you're adaptable and willing to sacrifice the small stuff in order to achieve a greater goal. When we follow our highest calling, success is all but guaranteed. When we align our true selves with purpose, fear and defensiveness evaporate, and we raise our vibration. That's science. Through recognition of coincidence as evidence of God's love and self-discovery, we come to the table prepared to make a world that is better for all. I have faith that the effective collective will reveal the solutions to our problems. Come on, Bison. Journey starts within, and we've got the power to do it.
All right, Lisa. Great, great, great. I love that bison story. And we always do these shows, whether we're doing them live or whether we're doing them virtual, and we love the synergy that comes in the room. You told the story about the bison going through the storm. We just talked about with one of our other speakers about going through the virtual storm and keep going so that that synergy is in the room. And
it's the synchronicities, it's the coincidences, right? And then my friend Caleb, who was before me, he referenced Albert Einstein as well, and I was just like, whoa.
Yes,
they're popping off all over the place today. I'm so happy to be here, you guys.
Absolutely. You know, there's a science to becoming a better you. And you have really took us through a whole different way of looking at it. And that's beautiful. It's great to have those different perspectives, but all aligned, taking each and every person to where they need to go. Because as we've said throughout the course of this day and many times on our stages, you know, someone may not connect with me, but they're definitely going to connect with you because that synergy of what you're speaking and the language that you're speaking is something that's going to resonate with them. So that's why we open this stage up to everybody who has a message that is in alignment with helping people become the better you. So Lisa, happy girl, how do you help them if they just can't wait till September 13th to see you in Kansas City?
So, like I said, you know, this was really my first stage. I'm working on the book right now with Ms. Dasha Love, who I also met down at 10X, as well as a coaching program. But I would love if anyone just wants to like chat with me or talk or anything like that, is email me at lisa@happybiggirl.com.
Lisa,
and she's going to be in Kansas City in September.
I'm rolling with my crew to Kansas City.
And hey, Lisa, I got a question for you. So, I know that there's a lot of the 10X stages and 10X people. So I didn't get to go to any of the 10X stuff, but I did end up going to the speak off. So you got a golden ticket. Were you at is that for this coming year? Were you at the one or no? I guess you couldn't have been at the one last year because this is your first stage. So is it you're going to be your golden ticket is for this coming year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my golden ticket is for this coming year. So I did the virtual audition that happened, I think it was like on July 22nd or something like that. And it was just random on my Facebook one day. And it was like Great American Speak Off. And I said, sign up for that. You want to be a motivational speaker. And, you know, and then here I am today. Like, it's so amazing. And like, thank you so much, Brenda, for like having me, even though you and I didn't have as much of a chance to connect down there. Yes. But in Kansas City, we will, girl.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I want to commend you, by the way, because I know that event. I know the lead up to it, and I'm sure there was several hundred people on, and they're only choosing about 20-25. So if you've never been on a stage and you were one of the people chosen, that's very impressive. So congratulations on that, because and I'll tell you, make sure you go to that event. I'll probably try out again this year, but some of the best connections I've made in several years was that event. So sweet. Make sure you go.
Yes. And you already know you got one supporter on here because Regina said she's down for the Happy Big Girls. So there you go.
It's play big, be happy.
Hey.
That's our motto at Happy Big Girl.
Come on. I look forward to seeing you in Kansas City. We're going to sit and hold space.
Oh, we sure are.
Yes. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lisa Heathfield. Thank you. Welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day and welcome to the BTBY family. All right.
Thank you guys so much. You guys have a good one.
You too.
You too. See you later.
Yes. Put that up there again, Lisa at happybiggirl.com. Connect with her and definitely continue on this journey towards becoming the better you. It's been a fun-filled day so far, and it's just going to get better and better and better as we introduce our next speaker. This guy, you know, needs no introduction really because everybody knows him. Everybody knows him from across the street to across the world. He has this great way of bringing people together. He has this power of taking it from just me into we. He tells his story of how he came from some disastrous times in his life that could have took mere mortals out, but he continues to prosper and he continues to help people form their trajectory of their greatness. He is a author, he is a coach, he is a speaker, he is a host of Bathrobe Moments on Trajectory TV every Monday through Friday, and he is also a good friend to the BTBY family, and he is also the curator and the visionary behind the Power of We Symposium that happens each and every year that affects thousands of youth across the country and across the world. but he is more importantly a dear friend to the BTBY family. So let's welcome to the stage Dr. Lauren Michaels
No.
Harris.
And he's a
Hey,
From
Doc.
Felon the Fabulous board member.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes, yes. Hey, everybody, how are you?
We're
We
good.
are
How are
great.
you?
How are you?
Good.
Good. It feels so good to be a visitor at the table and not have to be the one running back and forth to the kitchen, if you know what I
Yes,
mean. So it's
yes.
nice to be here with you all. And man, I've been watching for hours, in and out, in and out. We had family here today. Which I'm grateful for because you were listening to you introduce me. And thank you for that beautiful introduction, Terrence. And hello, Brenda. And hello, Regina Platt, stepologist. And Anthony Russo. So honored always to be around all of you guys. But so anyway, yeah, had family here today from that original family. Family number one. Right. And everyone it was so interesting. I'm so excited about being here today because my heart is just on fire after having the dinner today and sitting there and talking about all the years, the decades of how it was and now what it is. And so it couldn't be a better time for becoming the better you than right now for anyone who is seeking to be a better you. So here we go. Here we
Well,
go.
I want you
There
to
we
take that
go.
fire and come
Yeah.
share it with your other family here.
Yeah.
Dr. Lauren, the mic and the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to keep an eye on the time like this. Set alarm for 20 minutes. Because I'm growing. I'm growing. Listen, first of all, I just want to say this. I want to honor all of you that are here watching and those who may watch the replay, the entire team and the board, Brenda and Terrence and Regina and just, every single Anthony, all the people, not just today, but every day. I've been watching through the year, all the trips you guys have taken, all the hearts you all have touched. And I just want to say this. For me, you heard a little bit about my backstory. But nowadays I don't spend much time talking about the poison because today I've taken that poison and I've bottled it into an antidote, and I'd rather talk about the antidote. You see, that's what I'm talking about, the antidote. So, because everything that we've gone, I'm gonna tell you what, I'm 62 years old, y'all, and I never, ever in a million years could have ever dreamed that I would say, hey, guess what? Dr. Lauren loves him some trauma. I love trauma. I am so grateful today for every stripe that the younger versions of me took for me, for the me of today. See, I'm going to tell y'all something about when, when trauma comes into your life, no matter when it is. But let's try to go back to that earliest moment. This is good news, y'all. This is good news. I know it to be true. I know it to be true. And that's why I love what Brenda and all the team here are doing and encouraging all of you to reach, to keep reaching and keep reaching again in becoming the better you. Because when you are consistent, when you drop breadcrumbs and pick them up simultaneously, when you learn to catch the clues that are coming in, you realize that nothing, it sounds cliche, but it's true. Ain't nothing happening to you. It is indeed happening for you. It is not there to define us. It is there to refine us. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. When I'm in Kansas City on the 13th or 14th, I'm coming 2 days, a day before and staying a day after because I love all of you down there so much. And I want to absorb everything. I'm going to tell you how serious I am about BTYB. I was supposed to be, I'm looking at the gig board. I was supposed to be in Albany, New York, a paid gig on Sunday, the 8th. And because it was so close to coming to BTYB, excuse me, I pulled out. I canceled. And people said, why? Why'd you do that? Because I have already started baptizing myself in that experience that I so look forward to every year. When Brenda puts this wonderful experience on, it pours into me. so that I can pour into others. It's a lot every day, y'all, to be consistent when we get up and for instance, when I don't feel like this guy, I don't want to be in this chair, but nonetheless, I've taken that oath. I've taken that Hippocratic oath as a human being that is dedicated to easing suffering in this world. I have given my word. I am being impeccable with that word. I'm following all four of the four agreements. There is one in every corner of every room in this house that I live in, because today, at 62 years old, let me tell you something. When the doorbell rings and blessing and inspiration and abundance and increase and all those things are on the other side of my door, the only reason I have to open the door and the only reason they ring the doorbell, it's not because they're visitors, it's because they forgot their keys, because every one of those things lives with me now. They live here. They no longer visit me. And my experience over the past few years with BTYB has helped me get to that place. So let me tell you something. Get encouraged. Be encouraged. Whatever it was that came into your life, whenever it was that it came into your life, know this. You may have heard at the moment, but what literally was happening, if you just hold out long enough, you're going to find out that that time, that day, that moment, that instant when trauma came flying into your room, when it came flying into your world, know this. That was the literal moment that you were marked for greatness. I know this to be true. I know it to be true. And so why is it so important? Let me tell you what the key word in the title, Becoming the Better You, is better. And the two letters that make that word the standout word for me, and hopefully for you, are the E and the R at the end. See, that's all you need. When you have found your family, like so many of us have found here with this group, so many of us have found in other cells of like-minded people around the world. It's the law of attraction. It is all those things that promise us that it will all come together and it will all make sense. Now, listen, when you have found this, when you have this place, and when you have all of these resources at your disposal, you don't have to get up anymore every day and write your story with all 26 letters. No, you only need an E and an R. They are magical. It's like getting a chocolate and vanilla cone all in one. Here's why. The ER, when you wake up every day, have something within reach before your feet hit the floor. When your eyes open, no matter which direction, if you're laying on your stomach, it should be there. You have a pillowcase you love to look at. If you're looking at that wall, have something there. If you're looking at the window, have something there. If nowhere around you, have it in your heart. But when you wake up and you already know I'm great, but before I lay back in this bed tonight, God willing, I will be greater. You know, you get up, you say, I got to make that move today. I got to say that thing that's been tough to say. But today I must be bold so that tonight when I end this day, I can say, look at that. Because of that, I am now bolder. If you're already bright, you can be brighter. If you're already kind, you can be kinder. Now, all you need to do is one thing every day that finds an E and an R and pushes its way right up to whatever it is that you are grateful for. Because the minute you do that, you can go to sleep now. Because guess what's going to happen? Spiritual magic. Spiritual magic. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you what I know. Because that little E and that little R are going to flip over. They're going to become R and E. And when you wake up, because you have done your best, because you have been impeccable with your word, you didn't take anything as an assumption. And you didn't take anything personally. And because of that, you now will rise refreshed. You're going to get up revived. You're going to go, ooh, I remember. You are going to be replenished, refreshed. Starting to see that picture, huh? Yes, two little letters that can do so many things. But also, listen, when you're with us, and I know you're coming, September 13th to 14th in Kansas City. So many of us, it's not just when people are on stage, that entire event center, the places around it, wherever you find yourself with someone who is there for the right thing, is a stage. It is a moment. It is an opportunity. And why is that so important? Because let me tell you something. Come with your eyes wide open. This is not wall work. This isn't wall talk where you're going to hear people say, oh, the answer to what you're asking is get over it. Where you're going to hear people say, oh, here, I know how to do that. Get around it. Somebody's going to try to tell you something somewhere else, but not in Kansas City about, well, hope you get from underneath it. That's wall talk. No, I know because I've been in those rooms. You're going to get that kind of talk that gets you somewhere. Have you ever heard of a wall of opportunity? No, that's why you don't want wall talk. Get over it, get around it, find a way under it. You need to get into it to get through it. And when you come to things like BTYB, not just this one, all year, I don't care where it is. If it's Christmas Eve, try to get there if you can. Cue Alita Adams. I'm just saying. Here's why. When you do your best, when you come to these events like this, here's what's happening. It's not about wall talk. It's about, why do you think they're called windows and doors of opportunity? Because what is greater than us knows when we are consistent, when we understand and know the truth has a ring to it and we're tuned to it. Our compass is programmed due north at all times. Then we see that window is an opportunity. And when we look through that window, we see we see Terrence, we see Brenda, we see you. We hope that you will open the door and walk through because they are windows and doors of opportunities for a reason. If you want to get to what's in the backyard, that's where all the fun takes place. That's where the pool is, the grill's back there. Everybody you want to see is in the backyard. So come on in, get to it so you can get through it, or get through it so you can get to it. Take your pick. Either way, we want to be there with you. It's a wonderful time today. It's a scary time in the world today. It's a lot of everything. But more the reason that we have these containers where we get to go. Listen, people, I go, why do I make my way? Why am I cutting off a paid gig just to have 5 days leading up to it? Because I need my mind right, because I want my heart right. I want my spirit to be right. I want to be ready to receive, and I want to be ready to allow people to receive from me. See, it's not about your cup runneth out. I'm not pouring nothing from my cup. If you want something from my cup, you better hang around and catch what is called overflow, because that's what it says. My cup runneth over, not our cups runneth out. And I guarantee you, if you're running on fumes, or if you feel, woo, I'm at the top of the top of the top, then this is the place for you. Come and give what you have and come and find what you need. That's what I implore you to do. I am telling you, I promise you, whatever it is you need, you will find it somewhere within the walls of this experience known as BTYB, if you truly are seeking it. And I want to encourage you all. This isn't about just talking to you about not giving up. It's also encouraging you to find new ways to live up. Live up to the potential of everything you are. Live up to the expectations of your ancestral line that left you, they gifted you all of their overflow when it was their time to leave this world. Give it to that one. I can tell they're going to do something wonderful. That was you. So many of us have said so many times before over the years, maybe even in the last 10 minutes, one of us may have said this life isn't worth living, and you couldn't be more wrong. How do you know so far? Maya Angelou said it. She said, just do right. Get up. Take up the battle. And that means if something's trying to get in your way to keep you from coming to this event, or anything that is going to feed your soul so that you can feed within the souls of others, then don't get scared. Don't bury your head in the sand. Get cunning and remember who you are and say, wait a minute. I see what's going on here. What could be so wonderful waiting for me in Kansas City that so many things that do not serve me are working so hard to keep me from it? That's the only question I want you to ask yourself every day. And if you do that, I guarantee you, I will see you in Kansas City on the 13th and 14th of September, and probably for many more days after that, because it's going to change your life. It changed mine. So take that with you. I cannot wait. Get up, everybody, every day and find that E and that R. Let's together ease as much suffering as we can in this world. We are creating stories that people will tell. They may not know our names when they tell them, but for thousands of years, they will refer to what we are creating right now. I know this to be true, and I want you to know it too. So I'll look for you in Kansas City. In the meantime, be your best, do your best, and don't worry about the rest. Dr. Lauren.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. It was fabulous. You know, Doc, when you mentioned the ER, and when you said that, I love acronyms, and when I think about the ER and I think about you, I think about energy and resilience. You always bring the energy when you come to the stage, whether it's the virtual stage or whether it is the in-person stage. And everything that you've gone through, the one thing that you personify is that resilience. And I thank you for continuing to be resilient and continuing to share your message and helping us see how we can continue to be a work in progress as well.
For sure.
Dr. Lauren, you talked about setting the table of purpose last year.
I did.
What are you going to talk about this year?
Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, I'm glad because I would have forgot because I was kind of in a zone there. I'm so excited this year. It's been the #1 talk for me on the road this year. I had 27 speaking gigs so far this year, and 24 of them were this one. And they pick, and I just love it. It is entitled Living Beyond Our Scars. It's just every audience I do this for. First, the question is, how many people here have scars? A scar, at least one. Every hand goes up. And then how many people remember the story that accompanies that scar? Every hand goes up. So instantly, we are more similar than we are different. And in this climate with elections and this and the other, I'm just so honored and grateful to bring this message of how to honor your scars and find the magic that lives within them. And it's true. It is so true.
It is true. And we've all got them, man, do we? We've all got them.
Well, yeah. And once we honor the ones we can see, then we can get to work on the ones we cannot see. Because those are the ones. Those are the real ones that determine everything.
Yes, those deep-rooted scars that take longer to get to. Yes. Well, we are definitely looking forward to it. They can definitely reach out to you at laurenmichaelharris.com. You definitely have to check him out on Bathrobe Moments.
I knew you were going to say
it. I'm looking for the mug. I thought your friend usually hangs out with you.
Oh, Lucy. Yeah, it's his weekend. She's getting her roots done. In other words, she's in the dishwasher.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Check him out every weekday, Monday through Friday. And look forward to seeing you September 14th.
Same here.
And the 14th.
And let's not pretend, y'all. I'm just telling you another reason. If you didn't I don't want to come here, none of that. You want to come for the gala. I'll tell you that much.
Yes.
Right.
The men
you want to come for the gala.
Yeah, we've been talking about that. You know, the women, they just don't know what they're about to get into again. But
we do. We're going to beat your butts is what we're going to do.
It's so much fun. I'm so excited. Thank you all. And thank you all for a beautiful job already. We're not even there yet. So looking forward.
Thank you so much. Dr. Lauren Michael Harris, enjoy the rest of your day. Say hi to my people out there in the Chi-Town, Chicago.
Well, we missed you, Terrence. See you guys soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris. Yes. You know, we've had the opportunity. We talk about collaboration, that compete. I've had the opportunity to be on his stage at the Power We, emceeing part of his event. Brenda, you've been at his event. Now he's been at our event. And it really just shows how when you put like-minded people together, you can make a powerful connection that extends beyond that one event. Would you agree?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so looks like we need to get these people excited and get them to pull out those credit cards and swipe left, swipe right. So let's give them another reason why they should be in the place on September 13th and 14th. As we told you, we've got the original shark who is going to be there. Let's hear from Kevin Harrington.
Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington. I'm an original shark from the hit TV show Shark Tank. I'm also the creator of the infomercial, pioneer of the as seen on TV brand, and I've been behind the scenes in business ventures that have produced well over $5 billion in global sales. Products like the Food Saver, Ginsu Knives, Tony Little Fitness, George Foreman, Jack LaLanne and the Juicer, many, many great folks. And of course, I'm constantly looking at ways to increase my bottom line, my performance, my mindset, and to become better every single day. Now, this is why I'm excited to be speaking at the Becoming the Better You conference on September 13th and 14th in Kansas City. Now, you won't ever achieve the life you want if you don't get started. And this is a place to get started because this is a 2-day life-changing event, and this is a place to take that first step. Now, we all strive to be the best versions of ourselves, but this is a show that's going to show you how. It's the BTBY, right? And I'm excited to be sharing the stage at this event with Brandon T. Adams, Chris Cumby, Dr. Ruben West, Brenda Ringwood, and it's many, many great speakers. And we're excited that Becoming the Better You has also inspired me so much that I'm going to let 6 to 8 people pitch me, the shark, at this event. So looking forward to seeing some deals and want you to be there. So if you want to know more, go over to www.comechangeyourlife.com. Find out more. Check it out. Take care. See you there.
Yes, yes, yes. ComeChangeYourLife.com. And this has already been a life-changing experience, and we haven't even got there yet because of this titan in the business world that has connected himself with BTBY. Brenda, you've shared the room with him on a number of different occasions. Now, tell us something about Kevin Harrington that, we might not know.
He started out just like a regular guy, he's got a lot of money, but he is down to earth. But he had a regular service company, HVAC or something like that. And he was having trouble finding people to do the work. He had plenty of business, just like of us have today. And he was sitting back at night and he said, there's dead airtime after the news. All those funny lines come up and the weird noise. He called the air stations, TV stations, and said, I want to buy that time. He got it for a discounted price and he invented the infomercial. That was really his start. He saw a need. He saw a cheaper way to do it. And then he invented this infomercial. He's the king of the infomercial. He's the founder. So Tony Little, Jack LaLanne, George Foreman, all kinds of stuff out there. Fantastic speaker. Has a great story. But the realization is he started off just like the rest of us. Sometimes we don't see ourselves in somebody else. We don't think that it could happen for us. And you might not make millions, but you can emulate and take advice from those that are already doing it. If you want to be a speaker, get around speakers. If you want to be an entrepreneur, and get around people that are doing that. If you want to be better at sales, get at people that are good at sales. We have some classes coming up. We're going to announce them at the event. But Anthony, tell us a little bit about what you're going to teach.
Yeah, well, I mean, I won't be at the event on that one, but when I do teach, it will be on voice. So I'll be going through just the different. Oh, you're talking about for the actual thing.
Yes.
The classes. I'm sorry. I was thinking still about the fact that I'm not going to get to be with you in Kansas City, which I am very upset about. But that's a different story.
But we're still going to promote the class you're going to teach in October.
Yes, the class in October. I got confused. I will be teaching between mindset, overcoming failure, and also the power of one's voice. So I'll be taking a little portion of my course and bringing it into the BTBY circle. So that's it. So I'll be teaching how to give a little bit of your story, how to create a hook, how to get involved with creating content, and then also from the perspective of overcoming failure as well.
That's a big one. The other thing we're going to be teaching is our speaker class. We're going to be doing a leadership class, a sales class, a parenting class, and a finance class. We have lots coming up for you guys.
Yes. If there's something you're struggling lost at how to do, then BTBY is the place for you. Our programming and our prices are affordable so that you can get the information you need so that you can continue to move forward. It's all over at comechangeyourlife.com. So why are you waiting? I mean, you can multitask, you can listen to us, you can get this great infotainment, and you can still be swiping right on that card so that you can secure. We don't have a golden ticket, but we have a priceless ticket. How about that? So if you want to get that priceless ticket, then go on over to comechangeyourlife.com. It's the place to be. All right. So let's keep this party going.
Well, I see Dr. Lotus Roche in the back room.
Absolutely. So, what can you say about Dr. Lotus that hasn't already been said? If you want to ignite and take flight in every stage of your life, then this is who you have to listen to. This is who you have to get those copious notes, get that pen and that paper, because the pen is the digital recorder for the mind. I'm gonna say all her things now. She ain't gonna have nothing else to say. I'm just gonna be able to say it because I have soaked it up. I have been a student of Dr. Lotus Roche. That's how good she is. And if you are looking to move from a work in progress to a priceless jewel, then you want to stick and stay in every single way, because we're about to bring to the stage the one, the only, the infamous, the dynamic. It is our friend, Dr. Lotus Roche. Hey!
It's a great day in every way. It's a great day in every way. And so I am so happy to be here today. And as y'all see, I'm on crutches today.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's right. So
everything okay, hopefully.
Everything is going great. Everything is going great. I actually twisted my ankle, but I don't want to tell you too much because I got a message. And the message was, I'm going to talk about crutches.
Come on. I was just about to say it was a prop. I knew it was. So, all right, Dr. Lotus. Well, without further ado, the stage is yours.
Hello, I'm Dr. Lotus Roche, and today I want to welcome you to an opportunity to overcome your crutches. I want to share a story with you. Just a week ago, I was out in Chicago, had a fantastic time. And Saturday, I was in the office in Chicago. I was doing some work with my team, and I got up and went to use the restroom and do a couple of other things, just the typical things, not swinging from chandeliers or anything like that. And all of a sudden, I could not put any weight on my ankle. I didn't know what happened. It's like life, all of a sudden things happen and you wonder, where did the job loss go? You might wonder, how did I end up on drugs? How did I end up homeless? How did I end up in the condition that I'm in? And sometimes we get really upset, we get disillusioned, and sometimes we lose our way. And we start to lose our way so much so that we develop things. And I heard Jill talk about this earlier. She said that she talked about drugs, she talked about alcohol, she talked about a myriad of things. And so many of our speakers have talked to you about struggles that we faced. And some of those things were crutches. Well, luckily, a few days ago, after bed rest, after getting off my feet and doing something different and giving myself time to rest, I was able to walk on one crutch. But this was interesting because when I got ready to leave Chicago, I had to use these crutches, and my best friend had a spare set of crutches in her house, in her basement. And sometimes that's where we keep things. We keep spare crutches in our basements, the basements of our own lives. And so today I'm going to talk to you about some interesting information that I found out about crutches. I thought, how fitting is it to talk to you about crutches? What is a crutch? Many of us know, and yes, my ankle has improved, so I'm going to show you this. Many of us know what a crutch is. Crutches have been around for a very long time. And many years ago, someone said, you know what? I'm going to patent this. In ancient Egypt, they used to use crutches before crutches ever became patent. But when I looked at how crutches serve us, I found out some interesting information because, you know, every crutch has a size, right? You can adjust the crutch to make it high or low. And when I started looking at the crutch and I got information, one of the pieces of information that I got was the fitting and positioning of a crutch. It says, make sure that you use a crutch that you can adjust about 1 to 2 inches below your armpit, so it's even with your hands, so you can move. Then it told me, look, when you walk in, you need to walk in a certain way, whereas that you're holding this crutch so that you don't fall. You got to lean a little bit and you got to hold on snug. And when you move out of a chair or whatever, you got to swing your feet around, keeping the bad foot, the bad ankle away so you don't re-injure yourself. And it made me think, how many of us are leaning not on these type of crutches, but on people, on vices that we've decided that we can't do without? One thing that I've learned by being a part of Becoming the Better You is that there are so many people that are a part of this amazing group. And some of us have come through some difficult changes that have allowed us to see our crutch, walk on our crutch, but also not use the crutch as an excuse. There's an amazing author, and in fact, she's a 39-time award-winning author, and her name is Lori Myers. And she had this saying, she said, kick the crutch out from under your excuses. So today I want to talk to you about kicking the crutch out from under your excuses. I know so many of us during the pandemic, many people have lost their jobs. And so many people wanted to say, you know what? I give up. I throw my hands up. But all of our speakers that you've seen here thus far that have faced hard times, some of them threw their hands up. And I remember when Les Brown, he always would say, like, if you fall, if you can look up, you can get up. So even in looking up, you still have to throw your hands up so that you can turn over and get up. So you don't have to use life excuses as a crutch. Now, I want to challenge you today. I'm going to give you 5 key components that I'd like you to use as you're overcoming some of your crutches. First, we're going to talk about fitting and positioning. How are you fitting yourself into areas that are allowing you to come away from things that bring you down? How are you changing your mind? Napoleon Hill said that we have to think and grow rich. Dr. Lotus Richey said you got to harness your thoughts, take the reins so you can control your life and win. But you got to fit yourself to a winning team. And that is a part of what Becoming the Better You is all about. Becoming the Better You also is going to help you position yourself with the right people in the right place and at the right time. And I know you might be saying, well, the Becoming a Better You group, they have all kinds of millionaires, maybe billionaires, thousandaires, maybe hundredaires, and I don't fit there. But yet, if you get in where you fit in, and you've heard that term before, someone may be a perfect fit to help you overcome whatever crutch you are afflicted with. The other thing that I want to share with you, tip 2, walking. When I looked at the information on how to use the crutch, it told me how to walk. Now, I had been walking for over 25 years. That's right. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Over 25 years, over 40 years, I have been walking. And I never thought that I would have to get instruction about how to walk. But in life, you have to learn to stop walking with people that don't serve you, so you could start walking in an atmosphere where people not only serve you, but they are for you. Because we know that sometimes people that hang around us, they're not always for us. Sometimes that knife you're pulling out of your back sometimes is being placed in your back by the person that's sitting right beside you, or that you think is your best friend. But that's why we call them frenemies. And so when you walk and move away from your crutch of leaning on others or leaning on vices, whether it be drug, alcohol, or whatever it is, when you become the better you, you're going to walk with better people. You're going to walk with your head high and your shoulders back in a new mindset. And now I've heard many of our speakers talk about mindset. And so number 4, what I want to talk to you about when we talk about our crutches, it is a matter of mindset. Sometimes we think that we have to have this crutch to walk. I know it because my ankle hurt so bad. I was afraid to walk and put the pressure on it because I didn't want to hurt myself. So I grabbed the crutch and I started using it. And I was afraid because I didn't want to re-injure myself. And a lot of us have been injured and we don't want to get re-injured. Some of us have been injured by our families, our friends, our jobs, our church, and even ourselves. But I realized that I had to rest my body. I had to do something different so that later I could put weight on my ankle. Because you know, just like I know, your ankle, your feet, your legs, without them, where would you be? We can't walk, we can't balance, we can't do almost anything unless we can depend on our own 2 feet. And so as you're becoming the better you, I encourage you, stand on your own 2 feet, but yet know that you are not alone. As you move into the awareness, self-awareness about the things that you have been using as a crutch, the people, sometimes the places, and sometimes even the things that you have been using that don't serve you. And you write them down like Terrence said. I always say note takers are, y'all know, money makers. But you can't make any money. You can't make any changes unless you take down the notes. And I challenge you, if you start moving away from your crutches, you start investing your time into books like Atomic Habits by James Clear, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, right? Harness Your Thoughts by Dr. Lotus Richey. All the crutches will begin to fade away as you become the better you. When you join us in Kansas in September, you are going to be so inspired. You're going to be empowered, uplifted. You are going to be surrounded by people that will help you face your crutch. They will help you identify it. And they will help give you strategies, techniques, tools, things to think about, and even books to read that's going to help you overcome your crutch. Now, we can give you all the tools in the world, but sometimes when you have the pain, it's hard to come away from those things. Yet if you give yourself a chance, if you hear, and if you give yourself a chance to become the better you, you will reap a world of benefits from dynamic speakers that are ready, willing, and able to invest in you as you invest in yourself to help you kick the crutch from under your excuses. I'm Dr. Lotus Roche, and I can't wait to see you in Kansas as you become the better you and kick the crutch from under your excuses. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Lotus. So tell us a little bit about what you do. So Lotus has done several of our commercials for us. She has designed my personal logo. She's a kind of a anything techie. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Our company, the Lotus Roche Ignites Coaching and Consulting, we work with corporations all around the world, whether it's getting your video done, crafting your message, or if you just need business coaching and training, we're there for you to take you from zero to hero in a short amount of time. And clients anywhere from 12 months to 18 months, they see extraordinary increases. And so if you or someone that you know needs to connect with us and ignite and take flight in the business area of their life, you want to connect with us at lotus@lotusrocheignitesyou.com. In a short way, that's all I have to say about that. But here's what I also want to say. Our company also partners with organizations that are owned by people like the Stepologists, Terrence Leffridge, and of course, Brenda Ringwood. And I just can't wait to see you in Kansas at the Becoming the Better You.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I still remember St. Louis. Bounce back, baby, bounce back.
That's right.
So that's now you got to kick the crutch so you can bounce back, baby, bounce
exactly.
Back.
And I'm doing well. I'm doing well. And I just want to thank you all for allowing me to share this because, you know, a lot of people have talked about God and the higher source. And, you know, when I was coming back in for this, I said, Lord, tell me what to say. And we know that there's somebody out there that needs to hear what is going to be said at BTBY. And I'm so excited and I can't wait for it. And so, you know, I'll be kicking the crutch and I'll be there in the house.
You're kicking the crutch because we're kicking the men's butt on the dance off.
That's right.
And I know you got your gown ready. We got to.
We don't want any excuses. We don't want to hear, well, our anchor, Dr. Lotus, wasn't able to drop it like it's hot, and that's why we didn't win here. But so you know, you gotta kick the
you know we got a hidden jewel, so you can come with it because when we come, we're coming full force. And then before the end, we got a couple of things we're gonna hit you with, okay? Because I know my lady, the stepologist, is gonna be stepping, and then we know Brenda's gonna be doing something, and you gotta be there to see what Brenda's gonna do.
Right. Well, y'all might want to come the day after to see the women. You know, then the key phrase is when they come, and sometimes it ain't after the prize is won. Then, but we're gonna talk about that. We all love here.
You know how it is after we win the prize. The guys, they be so tired and sweaty and be looking for a glass of water. Like, whew, them women are so amazing. They won again.
Well, you know what? After we win the award, we men know that you ladies are still the prize. How about that? There you go.
Come
There
on,
you go.
come
Thank
on.
you, thank you, Dr. Lotus. As always, you have enriched us in the time that you're here. We're looking forward to seeing you in Kansas City. Now, again, if you guys haven't had enough reasons, and we've had a bevy of reasons to go on over, click that link and swipe right on that card. Get your seat, get your hotel accommodation, get that 20% off, and have your face in the place for the BTBY work in progress. We working now, y'all, so that y'all can be a work in progress then.
And that 20% only today.
Only today.
Awesome.
Only because you showed up. The universe recognizes those who take massive action. When? Right now. So get on over. ComeChangeYourLife.com. And we'll see you, Dr. Lotus Richey, in every single way in Kansas City.
All right.
Take care.
There. Good night, everybody.
All right. Take care.
Yes.
Look who's on the stage. Looky there.
Hey, guys. How's it going, man?
Come on, Mr. Avocado.
Right?
It is the avocados. Hey, you guys, if they come on together, then there's some superpower stuff that's about to happen. You guys have been working behind the scenes. You guys are the glue that is making the BTBY movement move full force, all gas, no brakes. But for the audience that haven't met you today, take the opportunity right now to introduce yourselves to the BTBY family.
Well, I got to let ladies go first and let Kenya get started with that.
Hello, everybody. I am Kenya Crafts, and I am the conductor of chaos. I help keep this train on the rails.
Yes.
And we are chugging along full force, and it is so amazing. There are so many things to talk about, but first, let's introduce the avocado.
Well, hey, I appreciate that. Everybody should know me for the most part. I'm Johnny Avocado. If you don't, I'm glad to have met you today. And you can go check me out at www.johnnyavocado.com. But you can find me purposing my passion alongside yours right here at the BTBY. I am the general manager, and I love that Terrence introduced Kenya and I together as part of us in the background that helps hold all this together and helps kind of bring this out of the ground. It's been an amazing transition from where we started with all of this. And man, I'm going to have to steal some of Brenda's thunder and just tell a little bit of her origin story when we get around to it here in a minute, because why the BTBY was even conceived or incepted is why we're here all again today. So thanks for having me, guys.
Well, you know what? Don't wait to steal the thunder. Let's come on, bring it now, because you guys have the tea. Y'all get to spill the tea about some of the things that they can expect to see September 13th and 14th in Kansas City. Where is the place to
be? My favorite has got to be what we're doing with Kevin Harrington. I'm an inventor guy, and that's kind of where I came and met up with everybody here. I came out of the tech sector. As we are storytellers here at the BTBY, what I did was help people tell their stories, just like we're going to see on Saturday, in front of potential investors and financiers. Man, you got to get it's like, to me, this is like the Super Bowl to me. You got to get your words together. You got to get your emotions together. And these guys have only got 90 seconds to pitch their dream to these folks and try to make a connection, convey an idea, and get them to buy into it. And I'm going to have to come up with some sort of a dog away or something. I'll be right back.
Well, as he dogs away, Kenya, we're telling everybody September 13th and 14th, but we have events going on even before then. So let's give them a rundown of what they can expect from this powerful experience weekend.
Well, you can't miss the networking opportunities that come on the night before, on the 12th. We have two amazing opportunities. The first one, you can go and get your VIP on and have an intimate dinner and fireside chat with Brandon T. Adams and Dr. Lauren Harris. Our own BTB Wire is going to be there as well, being our happy hosts. And then number two, we have another great networking event going on in the Kansas City Power and Light District with Chris Cumby, Johnny Avocado, me, and a bunch of other great BTBY speakers and coaches. I think Brenda's going to be there. Hopefully Regina's going to be there. I think you're going to be there, T.
Oh, most definitely.
It's just going to be awesome.
And I'm going to blow up an 11 by 14 picture of Anthony, and we're going to carry him wherever we go throughout the weekend. Yeah. Yeah.
Flat Anthony.
Flat Anthony, that's right. Our kids used to do those. I think we might do a Flat Anthony project.
It's like a flat earther, but it's a Flat Anthony project. I like it. There you go.
You got to put a voice box on.
I was going with Flat Stanley, but okay.
Oh, got
The
it.
children's book. Yeah.
But he'll be there. And then there's Friday. We hit it full force on Friday. Tell them some of the things that are going to happen on Friday, Kenya.
Oh my gosh. It is just going to go on all day with one speaker after another. We're going to have breakout rooms. We'll have lunch for everybody, and then dinner, some snacks that evening. And then we're going to come back again Saturday morning, hit the ground running at 8:00. We've got the pitch competition on Saturday. I think the comedian is on Saturday.
Yes,
He's on
at the
Saturday
gala.
with
And
Black
then
tie.
we have our black tie affair. And again, the guys are going down this time. My ankle is fully healed.
We'll see
Okay,
about that.
well,
We'll see about
well,
that.
you see, Johnny's got his dancing hair on already, so it's a wrap to begin with.
I've learned new moves.
And it's a good thing. It's a good thing that the comedian comes after the dance off, so that you guys can laugh and stop crying from the loss. But I deflect from that. It's all love. We're all doing it in unity. We're all a work in progress. The men are just farther along, but it's okay. It's just fine. So it sounds like it's going to be a fun-filled, infotaining weekend, Johnny Avocado. Would you say that's the best way to put it?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to, Thursday night's a great way for us all to kind of get together and get to know each other if you can come in early. Whether you're going to the Brandon T. Adams thing, which is where you'll get a sit down with him. I mean, it's an intimate deal. This guy, Brandon T. Adams, if you guys don't know who he is, he's like a 2-time Emmy Award winner. He had some shows on TV about marketing and branding. And he is like the finance guy for Kevin now. Kevin does most of his deals through him. So if you want to know, how you're going to spend your money in the marketplace and what you should do to build your brand, getting some time with him and maybe just a handful of other people for a few hours Thursday night would be a great way to spend your evening to start off what we're doing here in Kansas City. And then the other thing, Saturday or Friday, when we get started with Friday, I mean, we're going to get into it Friday morning. When you show up on Friday, I know my girl, stepologist Regina Platt's going to be in the room, and we're going to get pumped up. We're going to get excited about what it is that we're going to be all there to do all weekend long. And that is to get ourselves activated, for us to get connected to our community, and for us to find those tools that we need to make the change that we want to have and to start to put those into place. I love so much that Lotus brought that crutch in. One of the really interesting things that we think we know about ourselves is we know how to do things, right? And if you've ever been to physical therapy, and if you've gone through the physical therapy and done what they've said, you'll find out that, maybe you weren't doing it like you thought you should. Walking, for example, maybe we all walk the way we're supposed to because the way we're used to. But then you start to get something that affects you or afflicts you, and you start to limp a little bit, and you use other muscles in the wrong way as you walk. And then if you ever go to physical therapy and you get whatever it was, that ailment that bothered you, and they try to get you back into a regular gait, they have to almost reteach you how to walk, a thing that you think you already know how to do. And that is one of the really important parts about when we try to make a change in ourselves. If we can find experts that have good information for us and can teach us, show us, coach us through the process, we have to be committed to that investment. We have to show up to that therapy. We have to show up and be ready to do that work, because it's through understanding from somebody else's perspective, not our own, that we can see some of the things that we don't see for ourselves. And when you become part of the BTBY, man, we'll get you activated. We'll get you opened up on Friday. We'll start getting those tools to you. And by the time you leave on Saturday, after the men have won this dance-off competition, you're not going to be really excited about what it is that you're doing. You are going to know that you can go and do it and already be doing it. You'll be putting the words in your head that night when you go to sleep. I can make shit happen. I'm the stepologist. I'm going to ignite to flight. The words that connect to you are the ones you're going to go to bed dreaming of. And you're going to take those back home with you, and you're going to carry them through to the end of whatever change you're trying to make. And that is key and fundamental for us to really make the changes inside ourselves, is to realize, hey, I wasn't doing it as well as I could, but I could do it better if I have the right information, the right coaching, the right instigation, the right inspiration,
The right
if I can
circle.
line it up.
The right tribe.
Yes, the right tribe.
I want to bring the stepologist and Anthony into the conversation because they've been with us and they've seen one of the things that we really do that I think sets our experience apart from all of the other conferences that are out there. And it's that networking experience. And as we all know, your network determines your net worth. So, Anthony and Regina, tell us how the networking has helped you throughout the times that you've been at our BTBY experiences.
Go ahead, Regina.
I was like, you want to go first or you want me to go first? I would say one of the things is we talked a little bit about the tribe, the container. I call it the container. We call it tribe. But having that, being around like-minded individuals that even when you're ready to slip off a little bit, they call you back into order. And sometimes we don't have people that understand the call that's upon us. And being in a group of people that you can network with, that are going to encourage you, that are going to hold you accountable, and keep the movement happening. This momentum that we've built from day one up until now has come from consistency. And so when one is down, another is ready to go. And so that means the engine is always turning. It's always chugga, 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 chugga. We moving.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? And so those, come on, we going. And the thing is, your vision right now may be too little for you. It may be too limited for you, but someone else get connected to you and stretch you and build the capacity of you as you work with them and move with them. And so being a part of a container, a tribe, an organization, a family, a group that is on the move is going to stretch you and transform your capacity too.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones people always you look at your business, you look at your life, and it could be one message that changes a trajectory. It could be one thing you hear that changes a trajectory. It could be one person that changes a trajectory. So networking really is, it's not just your network equals your net worth. I love that phrase, but it's also your network is what opens the doors to whatever future you're looking for. Your network opens it doesn't have a fun rhyme to it, but your network can equal the massive change or the fire starter that you need to create change in your life.
All right. Well, we are looking forward to it. Yes.
Not what you know, who you know.
Absolutely. All those gems. So we thank you guys for again being.
I got one more question for him.
You got one more.
We have a local yokel that Johnny's been working with.
He's a yokel?
Absolutely. No, he's a good old boy. He's a great guy. So actually, if you guys are looking for some additional content to get you between now and September 13th and 14th, and possibly 11th if you show up early, for the BTBY, is we've got a small program put out there on the internet. It's called Shark Bait, as if you were the bait for the sharks. And we are following along with our local Kansas City legend, Johnny Rollins. He is the Chopper 9 pilot from the news channel. He was so interested in trying to make a risk evaluation for kids in their driving part of what they did that he put a school together for it. And this isn't just the only kind of place that he's been an entrepreneur in. He's got some other ideas around some pool products. And so he has reached out to us an opportunity to try to get in front of Kevin Harrington. And along the way, he's asked Kenny and I to help coach him to get ready for this opportunity to put his pitch out forward. So we're going to follow along through a small mini series. We're going to try to release it every week, where we're kind of putting some behind the scenes stuff together, where we're showing and teaching some of the techniques that he needs to have his speech and his pitch together, and a whole lot of really interesting things about product review, how to get inside the mind of a financier, and some stuff like that. So I've got a lot of tips and tricks for anybody who's also interested in getting themselves on the pitch. That we still have a few slots open. If you've got a really compelling idea, or if you think you're an entrepreneur with the next hottest product out there, get your pitch idea together, and there's still an opportunity to get in front of Kevin. We have online I think a bit of an outline of what it is that you need to kind of have, like your thoughts together, what kind of portfolio you'd want to have as an after effect. some of these kind of things. So it's like the real deal. The opportunity is twofold. Not only could Kevin and one of the other millionaires on the stage, there's going to be at least 3 total. Not only is there an opportunity for one of them to financially invest in what your product is, they're going to make an even greater investment. They're going to we're going to score the pitch process, and they're going to award some prizes to as a competition. And the better you score, the higher you'll rank. And we're going to give out some prizes to include coaching from these 2 guys themselves, man. Kevin Harrington. I mean, this is the guy who invented the infomercial, who came up with the Ginsu industry, the Ginsu knives, and all of that. Can you imagine the value of spending 30 minutes with this guy coaching you about any friggin' product you had or idea that you were trying to bring to market? Invaluable. I mean, and that's just the second half. They don't even have to want to put money into your thing to try to coach you or help you become better, like we all do here at the Becoming the Better You. So it's an amazing opportunity that I'm really excited that. And if you got that, I want to get out here even deeper and farther. More people need to be able to take advantage of this opportunity. So if you know somebody who has an idea and can articulate it in any kind of way, man, have them apply for the pitch and see if they can get themselves in front of Kevin and Brandon and one of our great friends here at the BTBY, Big Bob, a heck of a supporter for us. He's going to be on the stage. And the thing about it is, even if you don't capture Kevin's attention with your idea, even if you don't win the pitch competition, there's an amazing statement that's one man's trash is another man's treasure. And the things that Kevin Harrington and Big Bob and Brandon T. Adams look at are worthy for other people to look at too. So just getting in the room with these people is one of the most important things that you can do to advance your product, your career, your entrepreneurialism, your business, yourself. You got to get in the room. So I can't wait to see everybody in September.
Yeah, I'm sold. I'll be there. Will you be there? All you got to do is go on over to comechangeyourlife.com, sign up for that VIP package, fill out the application in terms of you having that opportunity to be one of the few to pitch a shark. And remember, you shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll be among those other stars in the room that can still help you get to the next level of your greatness. Let's give it up for the avocados. Yes, yes, yes. You guys get back to work now. And Johnny help Kenya on some dance moves because you just give her one secret. That's it. Just one.
And John and Kenya, thank you for your tireless work. You guys have been working behind the scenes. We've been getting the event space ready. We've been ordering stuff. We've been getting schedules together and doing our jobs in the middle of all that. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So I got to brag on you one, Brenda. I got to thank you for being the catalyst that brought so much of this together. And I got to thank Terrence for being the partner that was there, that was ready to step in when you were looking to have somebody help you bring it out of the ground. I'm going to just jump in here and tell your origin story just a second so that those that are wondering whether or not coming to a BTBY event is the right thing for them. Brenda's story is that she didn't like what the story that her past told her was and told about her. And so she wanted to try to be able to tell that story for herself going forward. And she had some people close to her mom in particular, that really pushed her to go out and try to do something about it, not just sit at home and piss and moan and whine that her life wasn't the way she wanted it to be, but to go and make connections that would make a difference. And one of the first people that she reached out to was Dr. Ruben West. And by going to Dr. West's organization, his conference, like we're putting on at the BTB, we call it experience because we like to think it's a bit more, and I know it is, but what Dr. West was doing was amazing. And just by Brenda putting herself in that room with Dr. West activated her and connected her to the people and the tools and the places that she needed to continue to put herself so that she could continue to make the change that she wanted. And the entire reason is that the BTBY is even about is because Brenda had the people around her that instigated her. She had the courage to step out and put herself in a room that she had never been in before. And she had the audacity, the drive, and the determination to follow through with the things people were telling her. When they told her she was good, they believed it. When they told her that there was more for her to do, that they believed it. She believed it. And she took those words and turned them into something for herself and made something out of it, something that we all get to be a part of because of it. And if you have any doubt about whether or not you think you should step into the room at the BTBY this September, man, have none, because all of this, any of this, anything can be because you decided that you wanted to make a change. Change can come by choice, and it only happens if you put yourself in the right rooms.
I love it. I couldn't say it better.
Get yourself around the right people, right rooms.
Yes, yes, yes.
And with that, our next speaker is one of those people.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Kenya. Go on over to comechangeyourlife.com. You've got a bevy of reasons now to have your face in the place on September 13th. Hey, even September 11th, if you really want to be out there. We're going to be rocking and rolling that whole week, but we can't wait to see you guys there. Thank you, guys.
Take it easy.
All right. Man, they are fantastic. You know, those
Yes, they
avocados
are.
are doing, they're making shit happen. That's what I say, you know. So, and so is our next speaker. You know, we talked about it. Every speaker needs a speaker. Every preacher needs their own preacher. Every coach needs a coach. Not only in the game of sports, but in the game of life.
Right.
And we've got a dual threat because we have an actual coach who coaches kids in the game of sports, but then he also coaches them and us big kids in the game of life. He is our good friend, Coach Chuck Prinzen's in the building. Welcome, Coach.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear
Yes,
you.
yes, yes.
Hey, I'm getting better. First of all, let me say thank you to all of you for the hours and hours and hours that you're putting on, and kind of sort of staying right there in the time limit. You're doing a great job. But I also want to thank my BTBY Ohana. You know, we used to say our family, but in the islands, I brought it in Ohana. This is my BTBY Ohana, and I could not be more proud of the growth and where we were to where we're at and where we are going, because we believe not in just each other, but we believe in those that are seeking to become a better version of themselves. That being said, look, I've been under the weather for 3 weeks. Brenda knows this. I went into the ER 2 weeks ago for upper respiratory. So I'm going to do my best to get through this. I got my water with lemon juice, and let's just make this happen. So,
all right.
I am.
Let's just get to it, Coach. Come on now.
Here we go. I am Coach Chuck, your locker room coach in this game of life. Why? Good coaches coach X's and O's. Great coaches coach life. And I've been doing that for over 50 years. So I just want to break this down. As a coach would, I have all my game plan in front of me, as I always do. You've seen me on stage. This will be my, in September, the 13th and the 14th in Kansas City, I believe will be my third. I was there in the beginning. And so let's talk about the beginning. The beginning was November of 2021 when Terrence, my brother Lethridge, introduced me to a beautiful woman by the name of Brenda Ringwood. And we had a conversation, and we have not stopped since then. We have grown together as family, or as Ohana. And I remember going to, in February of 2022, I remember going to the first BTBY, and I believe it is. My dates might be off because my mind's a little off, but I remember we only had 234 members. At that time, we called them members. We don't call them members anymore. We call them our BTBY Ohana. And look where we've gone. So I want to break this down in what a coach would do into quarters. So the beginning was when I met Brenda and I went to our very first BTBY, and we were trying to figure out, can we keep this going? How do we do this? And we just believed. We believed in each other. I believed in you. You believed in me. And look at us now. BTBY under construction, because once again, we're remodeling for our event in September in Kansas City on the 13th and the 14th. So why do I believe in BTBY? Because I've gone through a whole lot of changes since we met. In 2022, Labor Day weekend, we went to an event representing BTBY in West Virginia, and I almost died. I literally almost died. I had to go to an ER, and thank you, Brenda, for taking me. Finally, my stubborn tail finally gave up because I am stubborn. I'm a Sagittarius. Can you figure that one out? And I gave up, and I went, and I had some male issues with prostrate, and I got really, really sick where I had a friend. I had to wear a bag for 5 weeks, and I did. I literally almost died. But I believed in myself. I believed in my doctor. I believed in those around me that were supporting me, and I got better. I recovered. But I didn't just recover. See, I'm talking about changes that we go through in our lives, changes that we go through in our game plan. Just when we think the game is going nice and smooth, fumbles happen. Things happen. Penalties, fumbles, okay? Changing of possessions. Things happen. And my God, that's right. Here at BTBY, we are not afraid about talking about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, our God. My God told me to go to Hawaii. So once again, I upped everything. I made a big change in my life, huge. And I moved from Northern California to Hawaii to be with family. And I started healing. I started getting better. I started getting and feeling better about myself because I had lost the love of my life to cancer Christmas Eve 2021. That I was reunited with 33 years after we split up as teenage parents. Changes. See, we go through changes. The question is, are you willing to make the change? Are you willing to understand the change and make changes and change your direction to become the better you that you can be? And so I moved to Hawaii, and I was there for 18 months. I actually was supposed to move to Kansas City, but I didn't because I got sick and I needed to go somewhere else. I would have been in the Midwest. I would have been part of the BTBY experience, the movement that they've made so much. I'm so proud of all of you. I could mention names, but there's such a long list. I don't want to let anybody go. I have sat back and I've watched BTBY grow and grow and grow. And look what's happening in September. Wow, what a list of people we have, not just speakers, but names. Okay? We actually going somewhere. So then it was the recovery of getting better. And then the fourth quarter, I actually moved back from Hawaii July 5th of this year. I left Hawaii and I moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana, because I got married in February to my beautiful wife, Elena Rodriguez. And here I am. Changes. Are you willing to take a chance in your life that you believe, because you feel it in your soul? Do you believe that you can make that happen? Believe in you. Believe in the things that you want in your life to be the better you, and go after them. So here I am in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I had nothing coming in here but 4 boxes. And I now have an apartment full of furniture. I have a beautiful wife and another family. I'm grateful. First of all, I'm grateful to my God, or my creator, that I choose to call God. Because if it wasn't for him, the journey that I've been on would not allow me to be where I'm at today if I didn't not only believe in him, believe in myself, and believe those around you. And it can happen to you too. Come September 13th and 14th in Kansas City, we're going to have another opportunity to make changes in people's life. You're going to have an opportunity to make a change in your life. So while I'm on that, because I want to make sure I'm within my time limit, I'm not going into OT, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to talk about. I believe, based on my experiences in life and where I come from, at my sophomore year in high school, I attended my 28th school, 28 schools, 18 elementary, 9 juniors, and I finally got adopted when I ran away from home and got into high school. Sports and activities saved my life, because if it wasn't for sports, I don't know. I don't know where I'd be. If it wasn't for the counselors, the teachers, and my coaches that believed in me. I lettered in 5 sports. Sports kept me off the streets. But in order for me to participate in my sports, I had to have a good grade. I had to have a 2.0 or better. So right now, Coach Chuck is going to talk about in September, I'm going to talk about activities. I'm going to talk about education. I'm going to talk about being the best you that you can be and get rid of those traits that have been passed on you by your parents and their parents, those negative traits that cause you to put up that defense and not willing to run with the ball offensively. So come September in Kansas City on the 13th and the 14th, I'm going to bring the power of education. Believing in those that believe in you, and those are the educators, the counselors. For me, even a principal that knew my story. I want to talk about the power of believing in those educators, believing in the educational system, and participating in sports or some types of activities to make you feel good about yourself. And so that's kind of sort of where I'm at. And that's it, man. That's Coach Chuck, your locker room coach in this game of life.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Coach Chuck always bringing the power, always bringing the X and O so that you can achieve and succeed in the game of life. You know what? We've had the honor of following your journey, and you just spelled out your most recent journeys. But in all of that, I always go back to the acronym that you made for your business. Tell them a little bit about that acronym and why it's so powerful for you.
And help me out, Terrence, on which acronym.
He switched it up.
What's that?
He switched up Me Inc. now.
Okay, so God gave me, I'm gonna make this as quick as I can. 14 years ago, God put something through me, and it was 8 hours in a garage, and I finally came up with MEINCNOW, and I asked God, what does this mean? And He says, think about it. And I finally had to give it a lot of thought, and I came up with Me Inc. Now, which stands for me expressing I need change now. And now that I got you, because I have a way of getting you, I'm going to help you incorporate me. Because you can't do anything in this life unless it goes through me first. And so we have changed with the power of not only my sensei, Lauren Michael Harris, and my beautiful BTBY family, and even yes, that guy up there on the right-hand side, Anthony Russo, okay, challenging me at one time a couple years back. I still remember that. I made some changes because now it's not about Me Inc. Now, it's about Coach Chuck helping coach up that game of life. And Me Inc. Now will always be the base of who I am, because Me Inc. Now helps people become aware of those generational cycles: domestic violence, child abuse, alcoholism, suicide, all of those traits that are passed down on our children that put them in a defensive mechanism, put them on defense. We want them to be more on offense, and we're going to help them because there's nothing better than understanding and believing in me.
You know what? Mm-hmm. And that's a full circle. And that's exactly why I wanted to explain it, because you knew that you needed change. You knew that there was a work in progress, but the change had to come from me, first. So you put in the work first on me. And now as a result of that, you are able to be Coach Chuck, helping people in the game of life so that they can see that if the change is possible within me, then it's possible within you too. And I love that about you. And I love that you're going to be with us again in September. We hope that we see your lovely bride, Elena, with us as well, because she's also part of the family. And she wears her crown just as proud as every other crown person that's put their crown on today. So we're looking forward to seeing you guys. Welcome to the Midwest. You know, I'll talk to you about it come October, November, December. You might want to,
Oh
go
no,
back.
I always go back to Hawaii. Hello, I got it, man. I got one. Maui,
Yeah.
Oahu. Yeah, I can always Cowabunga surfs up. I'm going back to the islands, baby.
All right. Well, we thank you. Thank you. This is Coach Chuck, and you guys come on and see him September 13th and 14th in Kansas City. We love you, Chuck.
Love
Feel
you
better,
too,
brother. Feel
Running
better.
praise and aloha going to you and your Ohana. Aloha.
Yes. That was Coach Chuck. Always an inspiration. Always helping you in the game of life. All right. So we are coming down.
What, you want to talk about his game of life, though, Terrence? He has been, man, he showed up at our virtual in November of 2021, knowing that he's about to lose his spouse. She dies a month later. He still shows up in his in-person event in February of 2022.
Yes,
he
is.
shows up again that summer for us where he almost dies, and he just keeps showing up. He's consistent in showing up. That's how you level up.
Yeah. And, again, we talked about synergy. That takes us right back to Lisa's story about that bison. He had so many reasons to run away from the storm, but he ran into the storm and he continues to keep running. And that's how you become a better you. You don't run the other direction. You don't run back to your past. You don't run back to the doubt. You don't run back to the fear. You keep running forward. You keep running through the fear, keep running through the doubt, keep running through the pain. Just keep running, and then you too will become a better you. All right, I just got chills.
I felt like the Rocky, the one when he was older, and that's how winning is done. Okay, sorry.
It's funny. Even as you all were speaking, I kept hearing that song. You don't know my story, but it's not their job to know your story. It's your job to do something with that story. It's your job to change the story, to change the outline. Because if you don't like what you got to do something about it. And so he didn't want to be alone. And so to have a container, a group of people that were on the move, he chose to get there so he could stand with us. And so that's a lot of us right now. There's somebody that may be watching. You're standing alone. You're trying to figure out how to weaver this way into speaking, into thinking, into change, and you're doing it alone. Why do it alone when there's a space that you can be in a container, a tribe that you can connect to? If you just go to come change your life and get registered and be there in a place and in a space where transformation can happen. Come on in so you can win. Come on in.
Come on in so you can win. So speaking of come on in, let's bring our next speaker in, Anthony.
Absolutely. Our next speaker is a former wildland firefighter, experienced a life-changing near-death encounter with God in 2017, which transformed his path. He's raised in Wyoming, the rugged mountains out there. His career in the Federal Fire Service exposed him to intense challenges, exacerbating PTSD from childhood trauma. Through his adversity, this gentleman discovered his resilience and faith, leading him to become an author, speaker, and empowerment coach as he now guides others to reconnect with their heart, purpose, and passion with God at the center of their journey. Ladies and gentlemen, Royal Kai.
Welcome, Royal Kai in the building. How are you, sir? Good. We are happy.
Man, I'm so grateful to be here. I'm just very grateful. I'm extremely grateful just to be alive. I mean, by the medical establishment, I should be dead, 2 or 3 times over. And, only by the grace of God, I'm truly here alive because, God is amazing. It doesn't matter what we've been through. It matters how much faith and how much action we want to take to be able to get to that next level. And if we surrender, God shows up in our lives and it's just like, what? What is this? This is amazing. I can never even create this.
Word, you said surrender.
Woo.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's
we're
so
gonna
cool.
surrender. We're gonna surrender the stage to you and let you present to us. This is Royal Kai.
Come on, Royal.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Aloha. So before we get into this, I just want to say you know, like I said earlier, I'm only alive because of the grace of God. And I'm just extremely excited to share my message with you. And we're talking about becoming the best you and becoming the best version of yourself. And so I'm just going to be real with you, because sometimes you need a coach, just like Chuck said, you know, you need a coach to help you out and to get you to understand where you're at and to speak truth into you. And we've all made mistakes in life. Everybody makes mistakes. But have we honestly admitted exactly where we are in our life? Have we taken responsibility and accountability for 100% of where we're at? Our finances, our relationships, our career, our thinking. Because can I share a story with you? I'm going to share a story with you where I had to learn a really, really hard lesson in how to own my mistakes on my path to becoming the best version of myself. And that involves me nearly dying. And so in 2017, I woke up in the hospital. I was dazed and I was confused, and there was excruciating pain throughout my entire body. I woke up with an oxygen mask. My face was so swollen like a balloon, I couldn't even open the right side of my face. And I was wondering, what happened? Where am I? And it wasn't until the doctor walked in and he said, "You've been in a severe motorcycle accident. You just got out of 11 and a half hours worth of surgery. We had to reconstruct your face. We had to put your jaw back together. We had to reattach it back to your skull. You had internal bleeding in your brain, your kidney, your spleen. The pain that you're feeling in the side, that's 3 shattered ribs and a shattered scapula, a broken arm and 2 fractures and 3 torn ligaments. You are literally the luckiest man to be alive. You had a blunt force trauma on a motorcycle around 30 miles an hour without a helmet, head first." And I realized that it was all my fault. I had PTSD. I was running. I was so angry at the world. I wasn't taking responsibility for my actions or my part. I was angry at my parents. I was angry at religion. And maybe some of you are angry. You're sad. You're depressed. But unless we actually accept responsibility and accountability for our part in it and where we're at, we can never move forward. And so through this experience, I only had one of 2 options. I could continue down the path of destruction and wreckage and blame and being in this space where I was drinking and I was drugging and I was so broken as a man, I didn't know what to do, because I grew up in Wyoming. And as a man, you have to be tough. You can't feel your feelings or emotions. Or choose to actually accept responsibility and accountability for my life and allow God into my heart and say, "God, I can't do this alone. I just don't know." And I went to heaven. I met God. My soul left my body and I went to heaven and I met God. And I said, "Oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing in the world. I want to stay here. I don't want to leave. I don't want to go back." And he's like, "No, you have to go back. You have a mission to complete." And I made a deal in my life that if he saved me from a bloody, mangled mess of destruction, I would share my message and testimony and whatever he wanted me to do. And that's what I'm here doing today. And maybe you don't know it yet, but you have a message. You have experiences and talents and abilities that have been gifted to you from God so that you can become an inspiration to other people. You see, the mess becomes the message. God can take your tragedy and trauma and turn it into triumph. He can take your trash and he can turn it into treasure. That's the beautiful thing. And when we accept responsibility and accountability for our lives, we can actually begin to move forward. You see, I didn't understand that I had PTSD. And many of you perhaps watching, if you've been a firefighter or a police officer or in the military or in the medical establishment, when we're consistently going from a fight or flight response, it changes our physiology and our psychology. And so it just becomes the normal. And we're either doing things to numb out or to get a hit of dopamine because our neurochemistry has changed entirely. And so my message is, number one, it's okay to not be okay. We go through extreme situations in life, but with God, anything can be healed if we allow ourselves into that. So there's a couple things that I want to share in this presentation. Number one, the biggest thing that helped me on becoming the best version of myself was identifying the voice inside my head. And I want you to experience that as well. If it's something that's negative, or you're not worthy, or you're not enough, that's not true, because we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And we're amazing and brilliant and bright beyond anything you could imagine. And number two, I want to give you a couple set of tools so that you can leave here feeling more empowered and connected, because you're needed in our world. Your message is needed. There's people that are suffering. There's people that are hurting, and you could share your inspiration and your hope and what you've been through so that they can be like, wow, I can do this too. And because of my actions when I left the firefighting world and I got into business and sales, and maybe some of you have switched careers and, gone on the entrepreneurial path, but it was my fault. And I was drinking and driving, and I didn't know. And so these are the things that I want you to know, because I don't want people to suffer. And I call them the 3 F's. And I hope you can see this right here. I put this up with the lighting. So number one, there's 3 F's, and I want you to remember this. Okay. The number one thing for us to become the best version of ourselves. Number one is, my handwriting is terrible, by the way. Forgiveness. Forgiveness, knowing that the world's not perfect. We're not perfect. Our parents are not perfect. Everybody did the best with what they could. And sometimes it's terrible. And it ends up in a bunch of trauma. And you're like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for this. But actually we did, because if we didn't have that resistance, we wouldn't have the opportunity to build our spiritual resilience. We wouldn't have that pressure, that what I call time under tension. If you want to build, if you want to grow stronger, you have to have time under tension. Everybody say tension. I need some tension, because that's how we grow. If we're in the gym, we're growing. So we have to forgive ourselves. We have to know that we live in a broken world and nothing's perfect. But once we allow God into our hearts and we forgive ourselves and we say, you know what, I can do better. I can do better. I can do bigger things. Then we're able to move into a place of faith. We have to have faith. If we don't have faith in a better life, in a better version of ourselves, if we don't have faith in God, what are we doing? We feel so lost. We don't have an anchor. We're in the sea without an anchor or a rudder, and we're just going from place to place. And I didn't have a rudder for a long time. I didn't have an anchor, and maybe you don't now. And I want you to know that God is real, that miracles are real. I went to heaven and nearly died and went through the depths of hell through trauma and PTSD and substance abuse and near-death experiences. And maybe you've experienced stuff like that. And it's difficult and it's challenging. But I want you to know that you're loved and that God is real and that miracles are real. And we're only one miracle away from living our best life if we truly surrender to God. And the third F is focus. What is our focus? What are we focused on? Do you know when fear comes in? Fear comes in when we don't have a vector, when we don't have a target, because there's no clear trajectory. And so one of the things I want you to start thinking about is, what is your focus in life? Who are you identifying as? What is your identity as an individual? Because if you don't know your identity, if you just think you're a person and you're not a son or daughter of God, then you're playing small, because we are kings and queens to the heirs of the kingdom of heaven. And we are ambassadors of Jesus Christ on earth, of the truth, one miracle away. And we can change people's lives, and I've experienced it. And so focus. With this focus, what are our beliefs? Something recently I learned about our beliefs is they're actually just repetitive thoughts that have become a pattern. So we have to start questioning, what do I believe in? Who am I? What is my focus? What is my vector? And there's some simple exercises. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling distracted, if you're feeling anxious, our physiology follows our psychology and inverse. So for instance, if somebody's walking like this, they're just feeling kind of down. Oh, okay. All right. What do you think is going on in their internal mindset as compared to somebody that's walking and moving. So once we understand how we can manipulate our own physiology, we can affect our psychology. So when you wake up in the morning, what we do is called priming. And Tony Robbins speaks about it all the time. The tone that you wake up in the morning sets the mood for the rest of the day. So when you're waking up, what are you telling yourself? What are you programming yourself with? Is it empowering? Is it disconnected? And there's a simple exercise. It's called priming. You breathe in, and then you do that for 10 breaths, and then you hold and 3 times. And you go into a place of gratitude, because gratitude is the key that unlocks the universe. When I was in the hospital, completely broken and mangled, my jaw was wired shut. My ribs were broken. I just went through 11 and a half hours worth of facial reconstruction surgery. My focus was not judging myself, because if we judge ourselves, we're in separation and we will never be in wholeness. I accepted where I was, and I was grateful that I was alive. And I said, I'm going to use this opportunity to heal rapidly. And I'm going to teach people how to heal and embody rapidly. And you know what? I was only in the hospital 2 weeks, and I was working out 3 months later. Every single doctor said, how are you doing this? This is impossible. There's no way that you're doing this. And I said, I know how we can heal, because as Lisa was talking in quantum physics, the perception of reality affects how our reality is. So if our lens of perspective is something that's disempowered, we're going to be disempowered. But if we say, oh, my perspective is gratitude, and once we pair our focus with faith and an intention, that's where we literally upregulate ourselves. And through epigenetics, we now know that we can control the expression of our genes and how we show up. And we can literally heal ourselves by our thoughts alone and faith. We're superhuman. If we get cut, we heal. If we break a bone, it heals. The power of it is just astounding. And this is what I want people to know, because I suffered for so long. I don't want people to suffer because I just didn't know. And so with all of these principles, we can really become the best version of ourselves, because if you're alive today, that's a blessing. A million people every day don't wake up and their lives are over. So we have one opportunity at this life, one chance. Are you going to waste it and live a limited life and not be tapped into your greatness and your genius and what God has made for you? Because if it's in your heart, and you see something and you feel something, God has put it in there so that you can complete it. And it's your job to do it. And so I would invite you today to make a firm, resolute decision. What is your focus? Who do you identify as? What are your beliefs? Audit your life to begin to understand your thought patterns and creating a new avatar for yourself to be more empowered and engaged. Where's your faith at? Do you believe in something that's greater for your life? Because if you don't have faith, we'll fail. Anything can be accomplished with faith and focus and moving forward and taking action. Because I'm grateful to be alive. I'm on a bonus round, and I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that I can share my testimony with you, because no matter what you've experienced, what you've gone through, God can use it for good, and you can use it to help other people that have been in difficult situations. And I want to just talk about my book a little bit. I wrote a book about this. I told God, tell me what you want me to do. And he's like, write a book. And he literally helped me channel this and put everything in there that I wish I would have known. If you can see here, that was me when I was all messed up. 11 and a half hours worth of surgery. And so I would invite you to think bigger, to have more faith, and to decide and make a firm and resolute decision to change your life today, because miracles are real. God is real. And we're truly only one miracle away, one decision, one action from living our best lives. And so I leave you with this. God bless you. Aloha, and have an amazing, amazing, amazing day and a weekend. And thank you, everybody.
Where can they get that book?
Yeah. So they can go to you can go to miraclemanjourney.com and you can go and get the book, and $10 from the book go to our nonprofit. So I started a nonprofit that's called Frontline First Responders, and it's all about raising awareness on mental and emotional health, because there's a stigma in our first responder community that we're the tough ones. We're the ones that are putting our lives on the line. We don't need help. We don't need rescuing. But if we look at the data, there is a 6 to 7 times higher suicide rate, depression, anxiety, PTSD, substance abuse. And these are our brothers and sisters that are showing up every single day, putting their lives on the line. And we need to let them know that we stand with them, that it's okay, and that we can give them tools and resources, because I suffered for so long. And I don't want people to suffer. I've lost uncles, I've lost cousins, I've lost brothers and sisters that have committed suicide or had overdoses because they just didn't know where to turn. And this is a big deal in America and the world. And this is what I'm passionate about.
Well,
you're making it to Kansas City in September, aren't you?
Yes, I'll be there.
Absolutely. Well, we definitely want you to bring some of those books with you. But in the meantime, they can go to miraclemanjourney.com. And I love the fact that you're giving back as well as giving information. At $10 to support your nonprofits, that's a phenomenal thing. We love nonprofits around here at BTBY, and we thank you. We thank you, Royal Kai, for sharing your Miracle Man journey. Any other questions you guys got for Miracle Man before we let him go?
Amazing job. That's all I need to say.
Thank you.
Well done. All right.
Say hi to Dexter. He's one of my Ys.
Hey.
Hey, Dexter. All right, Royal Kai, the Miracle Man. Check him out, miraclemanjourney.com. Thank you so much for being on the BTBY experience today, Royal. Thank you.
Thank you. Aloha, everybody. Cheers. See you.
I love the way he framed that. It was such a well framed presentation. I thought it was really well done.
Absolutely. The old school chalkboard, the old school paper and board and everything. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, the moment that we have come to has arrived. We are about to bring this experience home on a high note. We are about to bring you to a place that you have long wanted to come to. And that's the end of today's show. But we've got one more speaker, and the stepologist is going to bring her to the stage.
Oh, goodness. I get the honor to introduce my friend and my sister, Miss Jean. She is an amazing speaker, very tenacious. Not only is she tenacious, she's very passionate about the work that she's been called to do. She is a native of Colorado Springs. She is a passionate writer, not only a passionate writer, but a believer in her writing. You are able to connect to everything that she's saying. She has experience while working in women's studies at Old Dominion University. She contributed to the book Ourselves as Students, a multicultural voice from the classroom, with her essay, Beyond the Fairy Tale. I love that. Beyond the Fairy Tale. Let's get real. Jean is currently compiling
She's asking us to stop on that bio because she gave us a new one.
Oh, I can't even see that because I'm sitting over here reading on the screen.
What she's doing, so let's just bring her up and let her tell us.
Bring her up.
Yeah, y'all know I don't be liking that anyway. I like the real. I love Jean. We met in 2018. When I met Jean, we connected. We have been on several platforms together. She's very passionate about the work she does. She is a visionary with the work. She's a connector, and she has a heart of gold. Jean, come on up here and work it out, girl.
And we all met before she even gets started. Jean and Regina and Terrence, I all met at that Dr. Ruben West event in 2019. Yeah, and we've been plugging along ever since.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jean is going to hit you with those gems of hope. How you doing, Jean?
I'm doing fabulous. I want to first give all of you a hand because you guys have done a great job. I'm looking at the screen up there. It says 9 hours and 25 minutes. You guys have already had this going. And this is just the end of it. As you said, there's been a lot of work that's been put into it. So thank you all for creating this platform, not only for me, but for hundreds, thousands, and even millions to view. I am grateful to be a part of BTBY. As noted, I came along in the very beginning of 2019 when some of us all joined together at Dr. Ruben West's event. And that event is one of the switches in my life that changed my life into a different form. Well, we are talking about the process of building, and we are a work in process. I am a dreamer, and all my life I have loved to dream. Now, that can mean a lot of things, and some people say, you are a dreamer. Oh my goodness, that's not good. But guess what? I have learned that if you can discover those gems of hope that you have within you, they are the dreams that will catapult you into your success. Now, why do I say that? Because if I had the opportunity to bring you on a journey through my whole life, you would see that my life has truly been a journey. And I like to look at this journey as a journey traveling on the road. And I've learned on the travel, I love to travel, and I love to see the world. When I was a little girl, I would lay in the field and I would dream of all these different places that I wanted to go. Even though I had never been there, I would close my eyes and I would think about the things that I'd seen either on television or in a book or something that someone told me. I learned that if you just close your eyes and you can imagine some great things. So with that journey, I would say life is a process, and there's going to be a detour on that road. What are you going to do when you arrive to that detour is the main key. So sometimes in the detours, when we're traveling on the road and we see those detours, we might get a little scared, as in we might not make it on time. And we might get a little scared as where's this detour taking us? I don't really like where it's going. I can't see it going around that bridge where I want to get to. Well, here's what I will say about detours. Detours can create growth. Maybe even the reason you have a detour is because the area you're going to is growing. And you have to get prepared before you get there, right? You have to be prepared before you arrive somewhere. You want to go visit somebody? Be prepared before you get there. So we encounter detours, and these detours, they can be frustrating too, especially if you're on the road and you live here in Florida. It's like a traffic jam everywhere you go. I won't get into the traffic jam I just came out of trying to get here in time to see you all at the end. But we encounter those detours, and they can be frustrating and scary, but they can lend to growth because you may need a new system also. So maybe it's about growing, or it may be the system is broken, but it's time to maybe learn a different way to do something. You might say, I've went that way to grandma's house over and over and over for 40 years. Now I got to find a different way. Well, you have to learn different ways sometimes to get where you want to go. Also, when you started that plan, the vision, you had to have a vision of where you wanted to go. If you didn't, I'm going to tell you, you probably never arrived where you wanted to go. Because if you're like me, if I don't have a vision of where I want to go and I got to stay focused, I'm going to see that detour over there that's going to take me on the scenic route. Now, the scenic route is a nice way to go, and there's a lot of beautiful things you can see on that scenic route, but sometimes it's a distraction. What? A distraction? A distraction from your success, or a distraction from you arriving at the time that you need to be. You don't want to show up late, right? So you got to plan, and you have to have a vision of where you're going. Now, another thing that I've learned, that those things, those detours may lead to new experiences, but you may have to be, because of that being in fear. I lost my word. Because of that frustration and being scared about taking that detour, you may have to take another route, but you also may have to not necessarily give up, but you may have to step back and look at the situation and come up with a different way to get around it. Also, in those detours, those circumstances, they're not always because of something you did. However, how you respond to those circumstances are part of it, responding or reacting. So you build resilience in this detour when you're going. Also, if you need help and you can't see your way to where you're going, this is where BTBYS is your guide. There are so many experts in various areas. I listened to almost all of the speakers today, as long as I could in that traffic, but I heard several tools that were offered. I also heard several experts that have overcome obstacles like addictions and fear and lack of confidence and lack of self-esteem and just being abandoned. Lots of things that you will run into on that road, on that journey. Now, as you travel this road of life, those detours, those construction areas, they're dangerous, but they are what's required. Those dangerous situations, those scary situations are the ones that are going to create the transformation for you into what it is that you want to achieve. Life is a journey, and detours are not necessarily setbacks. Sometimes they are setups. Sometimes they are there for you to stand out in the crowd, to stand up with your voice, to stand up and be what you were created to be. You have greatness within you. The work that's already been created within you, today is time for you to use that foundation that you have with BTBYS. If you're not already a part of it, get with it. Get to Kansas City. Don't be late. Told you, don't be late. Don't be late. Stand up. But guess what? Sometimes when you stand up, you're going to have to take a risk, but that's okay. Stand up. Take a risk. Life is a journey. Detours are not setbacks. They are opportunities for growth, resilience, and transformation. And some of those uncharted territories are where you're going to find your greatest hidden treasures. I am Jean Caggiano, and what I love to do is inspire and educate individuals that they can become whatsoever they choose to be. They can find experts to help them. They can, okay. So Gems of Hope, I can help. You can help, we can help. I don't know why I'm lost for words all of a sudden. Woohoo, I got hot. You guys
yes, you were on fire. Absolutely. Let's give it up for Jean Kaji. I know. Yes, bringing those gems of hope. You know, it gets good. We talked to Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris earlier, and he said, add the ER. And Jean, you was getting good ER. You were getting gooder. And we love it. And we love the journey that you took us on. I know about that Florida traffic. I'm right here with you, just down here in South Florida, but you got to keep pushing. You got to keep going through. And we love how you not only told us how you do it, but you also told us how being a part of the BTBY family has helped you do it. Yes. So let me ask you real quickly before you go, how can BTBY help somebody who's a work in progress?
Good question. BTBY can help somebody that's a work in progress by helping you discover where you're at now. What are some of the areas that you may have to improve? But most of all, they will look for those greatnesses that you have within you, and they will help you uncover them, unpack them, and discover much more than you ever imagined. Because when you get a team of people behind you, they can see so much more in you that you've never seen in your life. And I would tell you, I'm a little aged. They've seen some things in me that I'm like, are you sure? As that introduction, I'm like, no, that one is not mine. That one is not mine, but that's okay. I loved that lady, though. I need to meet that lady because I love the introduction you started with. But definitely, that is after what, 4 years, almost 5 years, something like that, working with this team here and there, and now even getting more serious about it. I had to come back home. How about that? Is that the right way to put it? Come back home.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Because when you come home, then you know that you're loved. And when they open their arms and welcome you home, it's like the prodigal son coming home, right? Oh my gosh. Thank you very much.
And Jean, you said yes to our last event. I said, come, you might have to share a room with us. Not only did we have to share a room, we had to share a bed, but you made it happen. And
Yes,
you came.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Who was Big Spoon? Who was Little Spoon on that one?
No spooning.
No spooning. I had to ask. I had to ask.
It's almost like the prodigal son came home. Isn't that what you just said, Jean? Okay.
I did. As a matter of fact, I remember Terrence and Anthony are the ones that did me on that introduced me on the first live virtual as well. And I couldn't even get through the conversation. I was crying through the whole thing. So tell me, can BTBY BTY, can it make you better? It has definitely helped me improve my game. And I'm not stopping here. So you guys don't stop either. You all better be in Kansas City because we're going to be there to help you build your future, build skills, build confidence, and build your future. You go, BTBYS team. Thank you very much.
Yes. That is Jean Caggiano dropping those gems of hope. Absolutely. We thank you so much, Jean. We can't wait to hang out with you September 13th and 14th in Kansas City. We want you all to be there. Well, like I've been saying all day long, you better not meet us there. You better beat us there because there's so many gems of hope that's going to be dropped on you. You may not have room to take them all in. So bring an extra bag with you because you're going to be bringing back some stuff. Thank you, Jean. Check her out. Gems of
Don't
Hope.
be late. Don't be late. Be there.
Absolutely. That is Jean Caggiano, everybody. Thank you so much. And all of our speakers, let's give them all a round of applause. They all brought the heat, they brought the energy, they brought the information, and they brought the entertainment. And hopefully they brought the experience, that experience that's going to move you to go ahead and click that link, comechangeyourlife.com. You've just been teased for 9 hours and 38 minutes. We've got 3 days, if you count our get together on that Thursday evening, 3 days of action-packed, fun-filled entertainment that you definitely want to be there to have your face in the place. I'm telling you, if you're there, it's gonna change your life. But let's go around the room. Let's get some final thoughts. Let's start, of course, always ladies first. So we're going to start with the stepologist, Regina Platt.
I thought he was going to go to me, by the way. I thought he was going to say but whatever.
You know what? I got to leave something for the in-person.
Not there. Okay.
So you all, I just want to say this piece to you. It's our responsibility to step forward and bring someone that needs to come. This is a safe space. Not only a safe space will it be for you, this is a space where you're going to be engaged and your capacity should be stretched. This is a space where you will leave with tools that are going to take you into the next area of your life. And so we've already seen today, it has been an honor to hear each speaker. It's been an honor to see you all that flowed into the room and into the space to hold space with us. But now it's time to do the hard work. And the hard work is the hard work. Those pieces that you have to dig out of yourself, that you've been hiding, that shame that you've been hiding, you've been given power to the very things that you need to release yourself from. And so we are a tribe that is going to wrap around you. BTBY is going to wrap around you. We're not only going to wrap around you, we're going to support you, but we will not do the work for you. And so it's going to start with you hitting the button, going on the website, getting yourself registered, and making the move to get there in person. We're waiting on you.
Yes, Anthony.
Man, let me tell you, the first step to change, taking the first step. You spend money on shoes. You spend money on going out to eat. You spend money on coffee. Man, coffee is kind of Anthony's thing. He's a coffee snob. But anyways, you spend it on everything but yourself. You spend it on things for yourself, like clothes, things you're going to put in your body. But you're not feeding this. And when you feed this, it transforms your life. It just transforms you. It changes you. It changes the way you think. It changes your actions, and it changes your life. That is a guarantee. We have testimony after testimony. Not only is this going to be about a self-development event, we've got a big business spin to it. So if you're looking to level up your business, your game, man, you're getting it all here. We're going to touch the mind. We're going to touch the soul. We're going to touch your pocketbook in ways that's going to help you to increase the pocketbook. We're going to show you how, teach you how. That's all I got.
Anthony, what you got?
Can I go?
Yes, yes.
Just checking. First of all, great job, everybody today, all the speakers. And I mean, if you take the very first BTBY event to now, and just kind of the level of content, the cohesion, all of it, it's just it was a good experience then, and it's a great experience now, and there's still room to continue to be a work in progress. But I think everything, it's so different. I would go back to like when we had to have the Zoom meeting the day before, figure out when people would log in. And this is a testament to the growth, and not only BTBY, but the industry. We evolved, and what happens over a time like COVID, you have things that happen that you either can shrink from or you grow from. And we grew to the fact that this is a different world than when we started in 2021. Everything has become very digital, yet we're still finding a way to make connection and actually reaching out and being able to touch people in different ways and provide different stories. And the cohesion with finances and health and wellness and all, I mean, it's just a different situation. What has been put together on these has been absolutely magical, I think. And the growth I've seen in all of you has just been fantastic. And the journey is ultimately just that your life, your struggle, your mistakes just become lessons. And that is the ultimate guide of being a work in progress, because you will have failures. And ultimately, like Terrence says, your journey matters, which is why I believe all journeys matter. No? Didn't. Okay, just kidding. All right, that was it. I'm ending on a joke. AJM. Thank you guys. Thanks for having me as always. And I will see you at one of these in-person events, but you can't book it during college.
Hopefully Anthony's going to be there.
Yeah. 11 by 14. Flat Anthony will be in the building. Absolutely.
That's my Kelly always refers to my ass as flat. So you might as well just put a picture of me from the side. That's Flat Anthony. So.
Well, maybe Kelly can come and bring you. Then there you go. All right. Listen, in all seriousness, you guys, if you take nothing else from me today, take this. Position yourself to be in a position for the position you were created for. Position yourself to be in a position for the position you were created for. Position has been my word for 2024, because I believe that for any work in progress, you've got to know the position. You've got to have a position, and then you have to know the position you want to get to, and then you have to put yourself in a position to get there. That's why they call it a GPS, a global positioning system. if you don't have a system to get you into the position that you were created for, then come on over to comechangeyourlife.com. We've got the position, we've got the platform. You just have to come and position yourself in the position that you were created for. Comechangeyourlife.com. BTBY code for 20% off. You've got 30 seconds before our thing ends today to get that special pricing. It's $1 here, $1 there that you're going to be saving, but the information is priceless. Comechangeyourlife.com. And as always, wherever you, Regina, you got one more thing to say?
No, I just wanted to say this because I know those that are watching, I need you all to just celebrate, right? They did an amazing job emceeing today. I was at several other events and I just thank them for covering down and covering me, right? But they did an amazing job. They gave space in this place for all voices to be heard and valued. And so it's always awesome to be able to be a part of a team that even when you're being overly used in another place, you know that the team is taking care of everything. And so I want to publicly say, thank you all for covering down in the way you did and using humor in the way you did. Oh my goodness. I was so empty when I walked in here, but I am so full every time I get around you all.
It's Anthony's dad jokes.
Yeah. We positioned him for that. Yes. For Regina Platt, for Anthony Russo, for the professor of change, Brenda Ringwood, I am Mr. Unstoppable, Terrence Leffridge. And as always, wherever you are in the world today, you know what we say. Don't just make it a great day, but go out and become the better you and make it an unstoppable day. Take care, you guys.
Get your tickets.
Get your ticket. Get your ticket. Come on now and get your ticket.
We'll see you September 13th and 14th in the beautiful city of Kansas City for the Becoming the Better You experience. Y'all, it's a work in progress. See you. Take care.